Welcome back to Second and Short. It is Friday, November 15th, 2024. Luke is trying to imitate me, as does Colin and Nathan on the Monday episodes of this podcast. But we got NFL Week 11 getting started tonight as we're talking, yesterday as you guys are hearing this. And, of course, we have a slate of NFL games this weekend. Not going to say great, and we will get to that, but we have a fantastic Thursday night game, Commanders Eagles, which hopefully went very well. If you're listening to this, obviously you guys know how it went. Still not much going on yet in the MLB offseason. We're still kind of waiting for some big moves to happen. Obviously, it's going to probably be till early December when winter meetings happen that we really get an idea of at least who the big guys are, who's really the contenders. But for now, we'll just kind of have to go off the rumors and have to just eat off of insignificant moves that people think are going to change the future of their franchise. We're going into an international break in soccer, so no Premier League games this weekend, and then I think we have till the 27th, 28th, no 26th, November 26th is when the Champions League comes back.
Okay.
And yeah, that's kind of what we've got going on. It's a slow week,
It
to say
is.
the least, but we still have a lot of things that we would like to cover. Of course, we'll be talking NFL Week 11, every single game of the slate. MLB offseason news, got a lot of rumors to talk about. We're going to do kind of a Premier League and Champions League table check-in. Now that the Champions League has a table, makes it a little easier for us to kind of check up on how some teams are doing, maybe look at what they look like down the road. For Premier League, we'll just kind of go through the table, hit on a couple teams that are worth talking about, and maybe have some overarching conversations about the league. And then we'll round it out with questions time as per usual. We haven't seen the questions posted yet by Nathan, but he has been notified, and supposedly he's on top of it. Luke, how are you doing today? It's a
Um,
beautiful, rainy Thursday in Georgia.
yeah, I had someone today on campus describe today as soup. It was soup weather. I don't think
Yeah, I could
there's
agree with
really
that.
not a better way to describe that. It
I
was,
think it feels amazing outside. I'll say that.
well, in Athens, it's just rained all day. We had like a high of 56. Today it
Yeah,
was really cold outside on
loved it.
campus. Yeah, I was not a fan. I was kind of mad at myself. My body honestly could not handle the 56-degree weather. I was shivering, and I was like, "It is
Really.
not like this is not the coldest it's gonna get."
I went to the grocery store this morning at like 9 a.m. and t-shirt and shorts,
Wow.
chilling. Felt so nice. It was like 48, 50 something degrees. Oh, it
Yeah.
was wonderful. Because like it wasn't windy, so it was just like it was just fine. Like it felt fine. And I loved it. I thought it felt great. And then like earlier, like a couple hours ago, I went out and like got the mail. Felt amazing. Like I love this weather. This is my time of the year. I've got the
Yeah.
candle burning, as has become a mainstay on Thursday episodes or Friday episodes, if you guys are listening. Uh, Luke, I would like to bring up this one thing before we get into the NFL because it has been the source of a lot of entertainment for us over the past couple of months, especially since the NFL season has started, and that's John Gruden. John Gruden has been a
Yeah.
fantastic point of entertainment. And this morning, we got the news that he joined Barstool Sports, which has
Oh
already
boy.
today given me plenty of entertainment. But
Yeah.
I just I can't wait to see the bullshit that he pulls
Yeah.
when he's got like a
He,
media company backing him. Oh God, we're gonna
yeah.
get even more like it's gonna be like Tuesday 1 a.m. just him sweating over a Monday Night Football performance or like
Oh, yeah, literally
just
sweating too.
yeah, no,
Physically
actually
sweating. Yeah.
sweating. Um, like a late night, dark room, no shirt. John Gruden just loving football is what we're gonna get a lot
Yeah.
more of, I think.
I yeah, the king of the booger sugar.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that like, I don't know, he's just, like, sitting at a chair on Barstool. It's like some live stream. It's, like, really popular, and he stands up and just a bag falls out of his pants. That's kind of
It would be
that's
ideal.
what I'm looking for him. That
Like
would be very ideal.
so
Like
I
Bobby Brown MTV Awards bag falling off
yeah,
on live television.
I obviously intake a high amount of Barstool content. I was watching the Yak earlier today. He came on and they brought up something that I guess this bag that he carries. It's not that kind of bag, but it's
Yeah.
like a laptop bag. It's like over the shoulder laptop bag. And apparently he just takes that everywhere and just wherever he goes, he just like drops it to do stuff. He just puts it on the ground to do stuff. And like it would not surprise me whatsoever if that just had like a slab of like a mirror and just
Yeah.
bags
Rolled
full.
up
Oh
bills.
yeah, dude. It would not surprise me if there's just not a laptop to be seen in that bag.
Yeah, or just like a brick.
It could just be a
Like just
brick
a
in there.
straight up brick.
Yeah, this is definitely not what we should be talking about, but we haven't said the word
Yeah.
yet. Not
In a
what
video
we should be
game.
talking about for the YouTube algorithm, considering it's the first 10 minutes of video, but it's whatever. All right, let's
They
get
don't
off that
they don't
topic
know about
before
this.
we do accidentally slip up and say what might be in that bag.
Dude, I honestly, like, I'm not worried about YouTube algorithm picking up anything like that because I watch MMG videos.
That is
His
fair.
his intro alone, every episode is bro, he Grayson, he
He'll
recorded
say
a video
some,
today.
yeah.
It was about it was a Manti Te'o card that just
Oh,
came out on
oh
NCAA.
God.
The the jokes were nonstop for, like,
I'm
the
sure.
entire 13-minute
Yeah.
video. It was insane.
Luckily for him, he has millions of people that will see his videos no matter what. But
Yeah.
if you were one of the people, potentially millions, seeing this video, make sure that you subscribe here on YouTube and you turn on the post notifications, stay up to date with everything we've got going on YouTube. Then, of course, go over, follow us on Instagram, stay up to date with everything we've got going on across all of our channels, and join the Second to Short subreddit, r/2nd A&D short. Submit your questions by about 4:30 p.m. Every Thursday to have them read right here and answered right here on Questions Time on the Friday episodes. Luke, let's get into NFL Week 11.
Got a heater on Thursday.
Heater on Thursday, and then it significantly cools off, kind of like the weather has this week. Starting off, Commanders, Eagles. Eagles a 4-point favorite at home. You guys already know what happened here. First thing I got to bring up, Brian Robinson Jr. is back. This is huge for the Commanders. Look, if you've listened to any of our episodes since he got out or since he got hurt, you would know how much I've been stressing. They don't know what to do without him right now when it comes to short yardage downs. That's huge, especially against the Eagles, because I think you might find yourself in a lot of those positions where maybe Jaden Daniels isn't able to make big plays down the field. Maybe you are having to go for a little bit of a small ball attempt at attacking this defense just because they've done a pretty good job of eliminating big plays. Brian Robinson Jr. is going to be a huge part of that offensive attack, and I think they definitely missed him in his absence.
Yeah, and on top of that, though, like, the Commanders, they rushed for 3 rushing touchdown against the Steelers, all kind of, like, short yarded situations. You had
Yeah.
2 from Eckler and 2 from McNichols, but, yeah, Brian Robinson Jr. is gonna come back and help them tremendously, and on the Eagles side, like, I mean, coming off of the win against Dallas, they did what they were supposed to do. I mean, there's not really anything I think alarming or, like, special about their win.
Yeah.
They just, did what they were supposed to do against Cooper Rush. So, um, I don't know if I really have, like, much else to talk about with this game.
The main thing I want to talk about for the Eagles before we get into our score predictions is that, yes, they do seem to be catching stride here, in this middle portion of the season. But we do need to take into account who they've played. They've won 5 straight games. That was a 4-point victory over the Browns, a 24-point or 25-point victory over the Giants, a 20-point victory over the Bengals, a 5-point victory over the Jags, and then the blowout against the Cowboys. Not top tier opponents this season in the NFL, especially considering it was a Cowboys team without Dak Prescott. And before that, close win against the Packers, you lose to the Falcons, you beat the Saints in a close, low-scoring game, and you got blown out by the Bucs. This Eagles team, yes,
Yeah.
they're putting up good numbers, kind of, and they're winning games. It's just not the opponents you would be looking for them to do it against, and the Commanders is a huge step up from any of the 5 teams that they've played in this 5-game winning streak. So I don't think we should get too sold yet on what the Eagles have, because this Commanders team is so much better than any of the opponents they've seen, maybe this season.
Yeah, no,
Other
and
than the
and
Packers.
even with the Commanders being like bad in recent years, the Eagles have had trouble with them. Like I mean, Sam Howell versus the Philadelphia Eagles last season gave us some heaters.
Yeah.
Those were really great football games that the Eagles ended up edging out just barely both games. But yeah, I'm going with the Commanders in this one. Give me the Commanders 27, Eagles 16.
Okay. I'm going to go
Yeah,
Commanders 28, Eagles 24.
I like it.
Obviously, you guys know what the score was, so let us know down in the comments if either of us got it right.
Yeah.
All right, Packers, a 5-point favorite on the road against Chicago. The Bears are so bad. Like, so
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, I know.
Caleb Williams simply cannot play well enough for this team to win right now.
Oh, and the rest of the team's been pretty great
Yeah.
outside of him,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, like, I think just the glaring issue is obviously the coaching. Fired their offensive coordinator, makes a lot of sense. Whatever the hell Shane Waldron was doing was not
Yeah.
working. Hopefully that helps Caleb. I don't know. But like I saw some film breakdowns of like, if you were wondering why Shane Waldron got fired, this is why. And it was like just the most ridiculous pass sets where like you would have, 2 receivers on each side. Clearly, very, very clearly, the defense was looking for those 2 receivers on the left. And Caleb rolls to his right to throw to his left.
Cardinal sin.
What? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And it was like that over and over and over again. Like, no wonder DJ Moore is whining about not getting the ball enough. And no wonder Cole Kmet has not put up numbers in weeks. Like, it's because you can't get them the ball because your offense is so poorly run. They make a change there. If things don't change after this, it's Eberflus's head that will be rolling. And
Yep.
unfortunately,
And then you get Belichick, and then you win the Super Bowl.
yeah, or Caleb Williams just falls victim to the exact same trend that their last 3 first-round quarterbacks have, which is Mitch Trubisky gets drafted in the first round, his head coach gets fired at the end of his first season, then nothing really happens, which is also what happened to Justin Fields, who got drafted in the first round. His coach got fired at the end of his first year, and then things didn't go well. So we could see that happen. Packers side, things are fine. But I would say, personally, that Jordan Love has been a bit questionable at times since that Texans game. I think, obviously, he got lit up one of those weeks. Just didn't look like he would even play, and then he did. But I don't know. I need to either Jordan Love needs to be at 100%, and if he's already at 100%, that is concerning. And I don't really know what the problem is right now for the offense, but they're not putting up the same numbers that they were, and Jordan Love isn't either, and I think that obviously goes hand in hand.
I would give the ball to Josh Jacobs more.
Yeah, give him 30
I
carries.
think I'm fine with that,
Yeah.
to be honest. I mean, didn't he what was it like in 2022 he had like a 30 carry game where he just went like ape shit on somebody.
Yeah, I
You know
don't,
what
I
game
don't
I'm talking
remember.
about?
He had so many
I
great games that season. I'm not surprised.
he really did. But yeah, no, I think for the Packers offense, you give the ball Josh Jacobs, just give it to him more. And I'm not saying like kind of make that a permanent change. Like who knows, maybe Jordan Love just kind of needs to stay, take a step back for a minute. I personally still like you talk about how usually the Packers are good for a nuclear game from one receiver, but it's always going to be a different guy, right?
Yeah.
I think in the draft, I wouldn't hate them going first round wide receiver if there's a good one on the table, just to get a more consistent guy.
I think they just have other issues to attack first. I think maybe if you have a pick in the second round that you're in a position where it's worth taking wide receiver, maybe. But I think there's just a incredible wealth of talent already in the wide receiver court. Like to me, it's obvious the two guys that should be leading the way. Jaden Reed and Christian Watson should be leading the way. Romeo Dubs finds himself in that scenario every now and then. And then after that, it's just kind of a free for all. But to me, those are the guys you should be committing to. Those three seem like the guys that are there for the long run and should be, the ones to lock in on. I don't think you get that much value going out and getting a rookie wide receiver, especially where they're going to be picking, because you're probably getting like the fifth best wide receiver in this class, wherever they're going to be
That
picking.
is true. And you can always get a solid wide receiver in the second round.
Exactly. At that point, I'd rather go for a guy where you see potential in him, and you can still get him late. I think the first round will probably be either try and make up for how bad of a draft pick Jordan Morgan was last year in the first round, or defense. You could always draft a defensive player and get them in the rotation.
That is true.
But we don't need to be talking about the draft.
No. One thing I wanted to point out, Caleb Williams got sacked 9 times last week against the Patriots. So, yeah, give me the Packers, unfortunately. Man, I wish this Bears team was good. I said it last week. You have just so much talent going to waste because of poor coaching and Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they're loaded everywhere. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Packers. Bears defense is still good, so give me the Packers 20-6.
Okay, I'm gonna go Packers 21, Bears 13.
All right.
Next game, Jags Lions. Lions a 14-point favorite at Ford Field. Oh, I will say I've never seen a more warranted line. Like, as soon as I saw this game, I was like, Jaguars Lions. What do I think? And I was like, it's gonna be over a touchdown. Might be close to 2, and it is a 2-touchdown spread. And what's even crazier is that Trevor Lawrence is back, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure Trevor Lawrence is back. But Tank Bigsby, Brian Thomas Jr., and Gabe Davis, all questionable. Yeah, look.
45-10 Lions.
It wouldn't surprise me.
It's not even that bad
at all.
It's not even that bad.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. That's like very close to what the Titans game was. It was like 54-14.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, look, the Lions they win by all means necessary. Like
all gas, no brakes.
Yeah, they don't slow down. Like last week, they kind of got slowed down, and they still scored 19 unanswered points to win that game. It was unbelievable.
And how about what they did to Joe Mixon too?
Yeah, they
first team to really just take him
shut
out.
Down Joe Mixon, which was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lions for sure. I'm gonna go 38. 41. They'll kick 2 field goals. Shout out Jake Bates. 41-17. I think the Jags can still score some points. All right, next game. Vikings -6 against the Titans. Another awful matchup. Vikings are really weird right now, though. Like that Lions loss, that super close game. The Vikings were undefeated. That loss really shook them up. I don't know what happened, but like these last 4 weeks have not been right. It was 2 straight losses, and then these last 2, they were wins, but questionable ones, especially last week. What was it? 12-7? Was that the final score?
Yeah.
Oh,
12-7 against the Jaguars. Yeah.
Ugh. Disgusting.
Yeah.
What's the problem? Like
21 to
Aaron Jones got hurt. I'm not sure what his status is this week. I know he got hurt in the game last week, but Jettas isn't having any big games. Darnold turned the ball over a ton last week.
And the week before, I'm pretty sure too, right?
And the week before.
Against the Colts.
Yeah, it's just been really odd for the Vikings right now.
Yeah, and I mean, even this win against the Jaguars, you kind of had an outlier victory where, Sam Darnold went for 241, but he didn't throw a touchdown. He threw 3 picks. Well, Aaron Jones and, Cam Akers and Sam Darnold, to be fair,
Yeah, he was
racked up
fine on the
like,
ground.
a pretty good rushing game.
Yeah.
That's really the only reason you got over that team. And that team starting quarterback is Mac Jones.
Yeah.
So I think for me it has a lot to do with turnovers. I just think I think it's more Sam Darnold shook, and they're also lucky that their defense really hasn't wavered. Their defense has still been great. But they are sitting at 7-2. They are not a threatening team, in my opinion, anymore at all.
I think there's something there. At least for the Titans, they're a threatening team. I think on the grand scale, to me, they're the third best team in their division, but that makes them like a top 7 team in this conference. Like,
Yeah,
that's the thing is
that
they're
division
still
actually is wild.
competitive. Yeah, the NFC North is
Yeah,
just so stacked this season, and the Vikings, they fall into that. Yeah, they might be weird, but I trust this team to potentially get on the right page. That's what I can say. You have the offensive weapons. Jordan Addison needs to get a little bit more into that rotation. TJ Hawkinson needs to be a little bit better. And he's just, obviously slowly coming back into the fold with this lineup. But you got to hope that Aaron Jones stays healthy, and you've just got to see a little more consistency out of Darnold, which I guess should have been the question mark this whole time. When was it going to slow
yeah,
down for Darnold? And it has, and we're seeing that kind of play out how it is. All
yeah.
right, let's
No,
talk
for
scores
sure.
here. I feel like the Vikings definitely capture a win. The Titans just don't have the umph. there's nothing there. Like, I'm sure Will Levis is back in rolling in whatever manner that may be, potentially on the ground. Tony Pollard is rolling on the ground in a different manner. He's actually I like what Tony Pollard's been able to do, despite the fact that they're most of the time in situations where they have to pass the ball.
Yeah,
Pollard has
often.
done
Yeah,
done a good job. Obviously he's no Derrick Henry, but he's doing a good job. Ridley
yeah,
looks good without D Hop. It's just he's the only one that looks good. That's the problem.
yeah. What's that Tyler Boyd guy just
What
a
happened?
non-factor.
Yeah, he used to be like he was definitely the best wide receiver 3 in the league last year. Maybe not last year, but for a couple, like for what, 2 years probably.
Yeah,
Best wide receiver 3 in the league. Probably was arguably a wide receiver 2. Never, never once I think he would just be this small of a factor in an offense led by his former offensive coordinator with the Bengals.
yeah.
That's the crazier thing.
It's
I don't
wild.
understand it at all.
Um,
All right, what's the
Give me
scores?
Vikings 24-10.
Okay, yeah, I like that a lot. I'm
Yep.
gonna go. I'm gonna go 21-7. Just take the field goals out. Um,
All right.
all right, Raiders Dolphins. Dolphins 7-point favorite at home. Dolphins got a win last
Whoa.
week, but they still don't look right. Like, Raheem Mostert got benched, which is insane. He played 8
Yeah, I
snaps. He
think
had he
just
had 2 receptions for 34 yards, 0 carries, and played 8 snaps. Like, okay, look, I get that he lost a few fumbles in the last couple of weeks that hurt you.
yeah,
He's still an extremely big part of this offense. Whether you see that down the road or not, right now, for this team, you need a guy who's going to go out and get tough yardage. And one of the guys who, prior to this season, might still be, was the what had like the highest yards per carry in NFL history with at least like 100
yeah.
carries or something. Like,
That's
that's
stupid.
unreal that you're not
Yeah,
utilizing this guy. I get
I
it's
know.
it's supposed to be a reprimanding or whatever. Mike McDaniel needs to step up and put his foot down, whatever. Raheem Mostert is not the guy you bench just because he fumbled the ball once or twice.
Absolutely not. And with Tua coming back, like, why is the whole offensive dynamic for this team changed? Like, none of their weapons are a glaring factor anymore. They are really struggling. Like Tyreek Hill, kind of a non-factor.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle had an okay game against the Rams, but he has really had a hard. He's had a tough year.
Yeah.
Darren Waddle.
This whole
Like
offense
the fact
has.
that yeah, and the fact that Jonnu Smith is like I would say probably one of your more consistent guys right now. He might be the most consistent receiver that they have. It's just wild. Like since they have had Waddle and Reek, they really have never had a tight end that has done as good as Jonnu Smith has in like these 2 games.
Yeah.
And it's just like I don't know why this is happening to them. It's so weird.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. I think the Dolphins, yeah, they got a win, but it was not a good one. The Rams looked way worse somehow.
Yeah,
But it's like
somehow.
Tua came back, and we thought, yeah, it might be a little bit slow reacclimating himself, whatever. Okay, well, we're 3 weeks back into his return, 2 weeks into his return. Something's got to give. He was like 20 for 28 last week, but he only threw for like 200 yards. Why is he not throwing downfield?
When you have guys like Waddle and Reed.
Yeah, and
It's insane.
Tyreek Hill's not putting up the numbers he wants to be putting up. Obviously, Jalen Waddle shouldn't be happy with how he's playing. Why are we just not changing anything then? Why are they doing the same thing every week? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's wild. All of this to say, at least they're playing the Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, the Las Vegas Raiders are a dumpster fire. Brock
I'm gonna
Bowers,
be honest though.
awesome.
Like
Everybody else,
Brock Bowers.
bye.
Their like last 3 losses, to be honest, haven't even been that bad.
No, they're not.
They've had like some weird games.
Yeah, and maybe they'll just show up and look like they did when they beat the Ravens.
Yeah, who knows?
How weird is that?
I know.
I feel like that was forever ago.
I know. That is pretty weird to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, like honestly, like the Raiders, the Raiders have been able to grind somehow. I mean, despite like having nothing basically. I still cannot fathom that Alexander Madison has once again slithered his way to being a starting running back in the NFL. It's
it will never make sense.
Unbelievable. But yeah, I think the Dolphins are a beatable team for the Raiders, but will it happen? I don't know. I'm going to bet on it. Give me the Raiders 20-17.
Okay. I'm going to go Dolphins 17, Raiders 10.
Okay.
I hate this game. And I hate probably the next 3 games. I hate all of them. We'll start off Rams -5 versus the Patriots.
Whoa.
Gross. Gross game. If you look at how these teams have played at all these last couple of weeks, you don't want to watch this. Rams just find some consistency, please. Just a little bit. A little bit of consistency would be nice. Like, you won 3 straight games, and it was the Raiders, the Vikings, the Seahawks. All 3 of those games, you put up relatively good offensive performances outside of maybe the Raiders. Then you just absolutely sucked against the Dolphins, who haven't really been that great. Yeah, their defense has been fine, but like, this Rams offense should be capable of much more, and they're just not.
It was a bizarre game against the Dolphins. Like it was one of those games where like it was obvious the Rams could move the football, but they just weren't getting into the end zone whatsoever.
No. And then on the Patriots side, it's just like, watch the 2 or 3 good things Drake May does in a game, and then watch him get rushed out of the pocket over and over and over again.
Yeah, he had a crazy play against the Bears, though. This guy,
they played great against the Bears.
Yeah, even Ramondre, dude, getting out there.
Yeah,
unbelievable. Can't stand that fucking guy.
Yeah, but Drake May does a few things good every game, and look, he outplayed Caleb. I'll say that.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
I mean, if you're sacking Matthew Stafford 9 times, you're gonna have a real chance to win the football game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think it kind of comes down. Can the Patriots defense, kind of do what the Dolphins did? Are they capable of shutting down Kupp and Nakua and Kyren? I don't know.
I don't think they're deep enough. I think if it was just one guy, if there was one guy you had to deal with, maybe they could handle it. But I think the Patriots defense just isn't quite deep enough to stop the Rams enough to win this game. I think they can slow them down for sure. It's just they don't really have the offense to outscore them. I'm going to go ahead and give my score prediction.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to go Rams 17, Patriots 14.
I'm going to go 21-14 Rams.
Okay. Next game, worse. Browns Saints. Saints, a
Next
1
game,
point
worse.
favorite at home. Oh,
Jameis, baby. Jameis, baby.
Jameis versus Derek Carr.
Wow.
God. Where do we begin? Do we start with the fact that Alvin Kamara leads the Saints and both of these teams combined? Alvin Kamara has the most rushing yards and the most receiving yards out of any player in this game.
He's the greatest NFL player of all time.
Dude, he has 51 receptions for 421 yards. That's more than any Browns or Saints wide receiver.
Do you feel like Alvin Kamara is underrated?
I don't know if he's underrated. I think the way he's rated is that he's one of the most talented players and he never wins.
Yeah. He doesn't get a lot of media love.
No, he doesn't. And he kind of screwed himself out of that one.
By re-signing with the Saints.
Well, by re-signing with the Saints and punching that guy in Vegas.
Yeah.
That definitely puts a damper on it.
We punched a lot of people in Vegas.
No, we didn't. Zero.
Check out the Vegas episode.
Yeah.
In a video game.
Nah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think you say that.
Yeah. Yeah, and for the Browns side, it's been kind of I'm gonna say heartbreaking to watch Nick Chubb try to play football in 2024.
Yeah, it's your fault.
No, it's not.
Steelers are the ones that broke him.
Well, Minka is a not dirty player.
All right.
And a good tackler.
All right. But you guys broke him. I'm putting it out there.
The last time, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That is
he was
a
broken
fair
in
point.
college. What is it? Was it his third?
Yeah, third
injury?
ACL.
So there was the one in college, and then what happened? He had two in the NFL?
I think so.
Okay. I don't even remember the first one.
I don't either. I just remember him.
But
he just misses time all the time.
Yeah,
this game sucks. If Marquez Valdes-Scantling does what he did against the Falcons, they'll win. If he doesn't,
he won't.
Who are they throwing the ball to other than Alvin Kamara? Cedric Wilson? Like, no, I don't even know if he was playing last week. Kevin Thomas Jr., I believe, was one of the wide receivers in this game. Like, what the hell? In the Browns, shout out Jameis Winston. That's the highest of praises I could give them. Defense is good. And because of the defense, I think I'm going to go with the Browns, oddly enough.
Wow.
This feels like a Jameis game. He loves New Orleans.
That is true. Yeah, I'll jump in there with you. Give me the Browns 17-14.
I've got a way worse score. Browns 10-7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Nick Chubb getting the end zone?
No. Probably not. It's probably Jameis to Njoku.
Okay.
All right. Let's keep going with the bad games. Colts Jets. Oh, baby.
Fuck yeah.
Anthony Richardson is back. He is back as the starter. That's how bad things are getting in Indianapolis. He got hurt, then he came back, then he got benched, now he's back again. You can't take away Anthony Richardson from the Colts right now. The thing you can take away from the Colts right now is wins. They can't win either, especially on the road. They're 1-4 on the road. Jets 2-2 at home. Jets are a 4-point favorite in this game. I'm sure, but then again, if we want to talk about why Vegas isn't always right, the Jets were a 3-point or 2.5-point favorite on the road in Arizona last week, and that game ended up 31-6.
Yep.
Like that was a mess. So look, Jonathan Taylor, I'm sure he's gonna have a great game. Maybe. Sometimes he hasn't even had great games this year. Aaron Rodgers will probably throw like 4 picks. I don't know what the hell is going to happen here.
No, with Aaron Rodgers, it's the incomplete pass. Never interceptions.
True. He doesn't throw a lot. He's thrown 7 interceptions this year. That's a lot for him.
That is a lot for him. Yeah,
7 interceptions in 10 games.
This team is so expensive and just a total bag of shit.
Yeah. Dude, they're ass. They are ass.
They are so bad. And
it's hard to watch.
It is because we've said many times on the podcast, like Aaron Rodgers is like fucking awesome, but
Yeah.
It's brutal. I hate it. It's the childhood is slowly withering away with him.
Yeah. And on the Colts side, okay, I'll ask you this question. Would you rather watch your quarterback make 4 out of 5 passes in a row? So 4 out of 5 consecutive passes, but they're all under 7 yards. Would you
Okay.
rather your quarterback complete 1 of 5 passes, but one of those was 30 yards, and then he's going to throw an interception on the next one?
With Jonathan Taylor, I'm gonna take the under 7 yards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But also the problem is that Joe Flacco also likes to throw downfield, which also results in interception. So you're just damned if you do and damned if you don't.
He has been doing too much slinging on this team, man.
Yeah, dude.
He has been putting him in some bad spots.
They brought too much life into him, giving him a contract.
Yeah.
I needed, like, if we wanted Flacco, we should have made him wait all year and then pulled him in at the most random time, watch him, fly commercial to Cleveland like we did last year. Like, that's what we needed out of Flacco. We need to light a fire under his ass. He's retiring in Indianapolis right now.
Yep.
Not the best place to retire, but I'm sure it's fine. This game sucks.
AD Mitchell
had
a big game.
Yeah, shout out AD Mitchell.
Yeah, we can do it. Shout out AD Mitchell. I'm going to take the quarterback matchup here. I'm going to take the maturity of Rodgers over Richardson. Give me 10-6 Jets.
Yeah. I will also be going with the better and stronger AR. So I'm going to go with the Colts.
The better and stronger AR. That was
the Colts are going to win. The Colts win this game 13-12.
Yeah. Shout out to Breece Hall. I know that you're talented. The Jets don't.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, our next game.
Really missing Mike Williams, huh, bitches?
No, they aren't. The next game, the final game of the 1 o'clock slate. We'll talk about Mike Williams here. Ravens Steelers.
Ooh.
Okay, let's talk about these new wide receivers. Deontay Johnson, pissed, pissed the fuck off. Steelers, Mike Williams, only got 1 reception and I think 1 target, but it won them the game and it was a touchdown. So definitely opposite ends. I think both of them got one reception in the last game, maybe 1 target in the last game. Deontay Johnson, not happy. Mike Williams, elated.
Yeah, absolutely elated.
Obviously, Lamar Jackson, there is just no stopping this guy. And he's throwing the ball. He's not even running the ball.
Yeah, it's a different Lamar.
It's different.
It's a different MVP level Lamar.
This guy's about to win an MVP again. First of all, back-to-back MVP, 100% right now. He's almost at 3,000 passing yards already.
Yeah.
He's got 24 passing touchdowns, and he's only thrown 2 fucking interceptions. Typically, you could be like, oh, yeah, Lamar Jackson's only thrown 2 interceptions, but it's because he's run for like 8 or 9 touchdowns this season. He hasn't had a rushing touchdown since week 4.
Damn.
He hasn't rushed for over, I think, 50 yards since like week 6, like for a number of weeks. I don't know the exact week. Lamar Jackson is deciding to throw the ball, and it's making me start to, I know this is early, it's making me start to think he's going to be healthy going into the playoffs for like the first time ever. That's the thing. We thought this Ravens offense was amazing last year because of what Lamar Jackson brings to the table as a runner. And Gus Edwards was great. J.K. Dobbins was obviously hurt as per usual. But like they figured out ways to make this offense look really good, but you could tell Lamar was getting beat up every week because he was running the ball. We didn't realize that, yes, we knew they needed a running back. We didn't realize that if you gave them a running back and just stopped giving Lamar the ball, that this offense would really become something.
Yeah, and they also I feel like they also, well, actually, I was going to say that they stopped addressing wide receiver, but they've kind of been adding a lot of new faces year by year to try to help Lamar.
The Zay Flowers draft pick last year, I think, was so big, and I think it was just a step in the right direction. Obviously, the emergence of Isaiah Likely over these last 2 seasons has been a huge asset for them. And then, you throw into the mix just like the random guy here and there that just shows up. And then, of course, you trade for Deontay Johnson, whatnot. I think things are just kind of finally working out.
Yeah, for sure. But he's coming up against the Steelers, which is
It's gonna be
not
a
a team
task.
he has had very much success with.
No.
Passer rating of 66.8, 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and the Ravens are 2-4 when Lamar
Mm.
plays against the Steelers. Um, so with that being said, the Ravens are gonna fucking lose again. It's just that simple. Their defense is getting yammed on
Yeah.
by anybody and everybody. Um, yeah, the Steelers don't have that high powered of an offense, but we have a quarterback that can make plays, a quarterback that can throw the deep ball. Really, since Ben Roethlisberger, the Steelers haven't had that. He's finding George Pickens, Mike Wallace.
Nice.
Wow, I miss Mike Wallace. Mike Williams probably will become more incorporated, and then Najee and Jalen Warren are just bulldozers, especially Najee, dude.
Yeah.
Wow, Najee Harris has been unbelievable. It sucks that we don't have Alex Highsmith, but we'll see how Preston Smith can do. And yeah, DJ Watt has always been a big fan of getting to Lamar as well.
Yeah.
So, and also like just to build this game even more, Patrick Queen and the Ravens have already been talking shit earlier this season. Deshaun Elliott and the Ravens have already been talking shit. It's 7-2 versus 7-3. You got playoff implications. It's the first AFC North game for the Steelers, and it's this one's a doozy.
Yeah, Steelers
Absolute
got. I think
doozy
we've
of a
already
game.
talked about this. Steelers got absolutely screwed by not playing any division games until this week.
I know.
But they're 7-2, which they put themselves in a damn good spot.
Yeah.
My thing with the Ravens, especially in this matchup, you talked about history and how Lamar hasn't played well against them. But we also just sat here and talked about how this is a totally different approach to this offense that we've seen at all out of Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And I think that bodes well for the Ravens. This isn't the same way that they're not going to treat the Steelers the same way that they have in the past years. I think Highsmith's injury does make an impact, but shout out to Mike Tomlin for going out and getting an edge rusher when you didn't need one, and then all of a sudden you needed one.
The crystal ball.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
I can't. I know that the Ravens defense is just not good. Like they're giving up a lot of points.
Oh, here we go.
This offense
you're like
is
0 in a million when you pick against the Steelers.
I don't care. This offense is unbelievable. It really is.
It is unbelievable. So is our defense.
Yes, you guys' defense is great. But I think it's a different approach, and I think maybe it does match up better than in past years for sure. You're not going to have success running the ball against the Steelers. Everybody knows that, and that's what the approach was last year and for years to come, or for years in the past. Now they're going to be passing the ball a lot more. They play in the slot a lot more. I think it's just a little bit more dynamic for what we see from the Ravens now. This offense does match up way better. Not that they're going to win necessarily, or they're not going to put up 40 points, but the offense will look better than it has in past years.
Yeah, that is true. But then again, like different Steelers team.
Oh,
the
for
Ravens
sure.
are seeing this time
For
as
sure.
well. I mean, we swept them, and I honestly can't even remember who our other quarterback was. It was Kenny Pickett last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still swept Baltimore. So it's just going to be a good game.
I agree.
It's going to be a very, very good game. So
yeah, I'm going to go with a pretty close score here. I'm going to go Ravens 24, Steelers 21 on a game-winning field goal.
Okay, I'm gonna go Steelers 28, Ravens 27 on a game-winning field goal.
Okay. All right. Wait, hold on. You guys put up 28.
Wait, how would we put up 25 points?
You say 27 if you want a game-winning field goal.
31-28.
Okay.
Game-winning field goal.
That works too. All right, into the 3-game 4 o'clock slate. Once again, my least favorite thing about the middle of the NFL season. Falcons, Broncos. The other thing that bothers me in the middle of the NFL season is the Falcons. What the fuck happened last week? Why do they have to do that to me?
Why? Through it, Grayson.
I had a bad enough week. I went 0-3 on the college football show. I lost beer bets to Colin. Then the Falcons decided to lose to the Saints. A depleted Saints team. There's nobody on the field outside of Alvin Kamara. Why did we have to lose? because now we have to go to Denver and you start making me think, oh, fuck, we're about to lose to Bo Nix. I logically have to think that.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That's not how this should be. We can't find any consistency. And every single time we're in a game, right now at least, early in the season, I wouldn't have said this, but right now, every single time we're in it with a team late in the game, we just find ways to fuck it up.
Yeah, I just can't wrap my head around having over 400 yards of offense and only scoring 17 points.
I can tell you exactly how. Because we missed out on 9 of them. 9 points that we could have scored from Young Wei Koo.
Yeah, that is. I forgot about that. Yeah, he
Unbelievable.
blew it. Yeah,
Yeah, and like one of those field goal attempts, I think was like a 35-yarder. Like, come on. Like, what are we even doing here?
yeah,
And the fact, I still can't get over the fact that Raheem Morris came out and was just like, we're not giving him any competition. At least make somebody show up to practice. Please.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Unbelievable.
yeah. You guys could have like Roberto Aguayo or something.
Dude, there's been so many kickers, even this week, that have had to come in. Harrison Butker just went on the IR. So the Chiefs had to go out and pick up a kicker. Like, we should have gone out and picked up a kicker.
Yeah,
Because Youngway's just not getting it done. I hate this game just because I have to go into this operating with the idea that we very well could lose, and it might even be likely that we lose. Because Bo Nix looks damn good, man. I love watching him play right now.
yeah, and another just brutal game against the Chiefs too. I cannot.
It's scripted.
The
It's
Chiefs
so
are pissing me
scripted.
off. It is. It's so scripted.
Yeah, me and Colin went over this on Monday, but like me and Colin were watching that happen, and like they're moving down the field, and Colin just immediately just goes, "Doesn't matter if they set up the field goal because it's gonna get blocked." It's just, of course it did. It's just I can't stand the Chiefs right now. The way that they're winning these games just kills me. Because if they were just blowing teams out, it'd be fun. It'd be fun to watch. This is the worst offense the Chiefs have had ever.
Yeah. Who knew that Isaiah Pacheco getting hurt would just deflate everything that they were trying to do this season?
Yeah. I can't even explain it. But like the Broncos, I like what they've got going on. The defense is great. I think Pat Surtain probably has his way this coming week. It's going to come down to the guys that essentially it's going to come down to the matchups that aren't happening with him. That's where the Falcons have to succeed. You got to run the ball. You have to run the ball against this Broncos team for sure. I do think the Falcons can win. I want to say that they will win, but the Broncos just keep staying in the back of my mind. The fact that Bo Nix is clearly growing week by week and just getting so much better, has so much better chemistry with those wide receivers every single week, just makes me start inching towards being like, oh shit, like they might just stay in this game all the way, and then there's no telling what will happen.
Cortland Sutton, he's been an underrated dog this season.
Yes.
It's cool to see him still playing this well. Yeah, I'm ready to give a score prediction if you are. I'm going to take the Denver Broncos, Grayson. I'm sorry.
No, go for it.
21-20.
Oof. Oh, that will just kill me.
That'll send you.
Yeah. Let me go Falcons 24. Yeah, Falcons 24, Broncos 17.
Ooh,
I think the defense can step up. We'll stop the long ball for sure. Okay.
Will y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Against these wide receivers that the Broncos have, we can stop the long ball.
That is true. It's not Marquez Valdez-Scantling, the specialist.
Yeah, he kind of is. All right, Seahawks 49ers. This game also kind of sucks. 49ers 6.5 point favorite. Are the 49ers coming back? Like, I think they're there. Like, McCaffrey was on the field. He didn't necessarily do that much, but they looked good. Brock Purdy looked great.
Yeah. Yeah, then again, it was against the Buccaneers team that's just, hanging on with no one to throw to.
Yeah, that was not fun to watch, I would say.
Yeah. Rashad White, wide receiver 1. Cade Otton, also wide receiver 1.
Yeah, they split those duties while there's 0 wide receivers to throw to.
Duty.
So shut up. Geno Smith is still ass. I'll continue to preach that
Man,
every single week. 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions with 3 amazing wide receivers. Like, what are you
yeah.
doing? Obviously,
Well,
DK was
they
out
didn't
like the
have
last like
DK.
3 weeks, but
Yeah.
still, you have a lot of wide receiver talent. You still can't get it done.
Yeah.
You can't run the ball with any
JSN got
measure of
unleashed.
consistency whatsoever.
Yep.
Yeah, the Seahawks suck. And they can't play the 49ers, especially since Geno's gotten there. They just have not played well against the 49ers whatsoever.
No, not at all. Yeah. Then again, though, how about how about Debo Samuel versus Jake Moody
It's
or
more
whoever
with
the
the
fuck?
long
No, the
snapper.
long snapper. The long snapper. Yeah, he did
And
hit Jake Moody in the process, but that was
yes,
an accident.
Debo
Um,
is a leader, and he leads in a way that most people would not like. Most people don't like in general. They don't like that kind of leader, but I get where he's coming from. Because the long snapper's job, I'm not gonna underrate the severity of it or how hard it is. You have to do two things. Make a good snap on a punt, make a good snap on a kick. If you're not doing one of those extremely well, you should be fired. Sorry. Like, that's how
there's
it
more
goes.
of y'all.
Long snapping is a position where they will literally, like, if you play long snapper in high school, you're not making it to the league. I'll say that right now because just about every long snapper is just a guy who wasn't good enough to play guard or tackle or center. He just became a long snapper. Or tight end. That's just how these guys work. So you are more replaceable than anybody. Because any team could go to practice on Monday or on Tuesday or whatever and just be like, who wants to give it a shot? All right, you're getting cut. Like, it's that easy. So
Yeah.
I understand where Debo's coming from because he's a leader in this team. He's a leader in the locker room. Jake Moody is a great kicker, but if you're not getting him good snaps, I can't blame him for not making his kicks.
Yeah.
So I understand where Debo's coming from.
Yeah. I mean,
And he played pretty well.
He did. 34-20 for 49ers.
I like that score a lot.
Yeah.
Is it? How do you say this guy's name? Is it what is it? Lenore.
Yeah. Who are you? Who's he play for?
The 49ers corner. Something Lenore. It's so hard to read, honestly. I don't know if it's as hard to pronounce as it is to read.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
I'll find it. I'm there. Diamador Lenore. They just re-signed him on like a 3-year contract. He's great. Very good. He's been very good. Travarius Ward is obviously the number one guy in that secondary, but Diamador Lenore has been very good. I think he's going to lock down the Seahawks potentially. I'm going to go 49ers 28. 49ers 28, Seahawks 16. They'll miss an extra point.
Right.
I don't know why, but they will. 425 game, Chiefs, Bills, potentially the best game of the week. But with the way that Chiefs games go, I'm sure it'll just kind of not be fun to watch for some reason, and then they'll win.
Yeah.
They're 9-0, and I don't think I've enjoyed a second of a Chiefs game outside of the season opener.
Yeah, the Bengals game was fun, but it was just incredibly bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Maybe it's going to take the Bills to kind of unlock them to just start figuring things out offensively, you know, kind of play up to their competition. Because, I mean, they've had, you know, close games with the Bucks, the Broncos, the Raiders, the 49ers, Saints, Chargers. And you know, that was kind of when the Chargers weren't necessarily firing, you know, in their passing game, I would say, like they have recently. But, like, I don't know, maybe the Bills just start scoring and the Chiefs just kind of keep up.
Yeah, like last week, even without Keon Coleman and Amari Cooper, they put up 30. Yes, it was the Colts, but they put up 30. But I will say, if you're the Chiefs, you couldn't be happier that you're coming up against the Bills right now,
Yeah, that is true.
which of course
But
would work out that way in Chiefs fashion.
yeah, minus the Buccaneers game for the Chiefs, though, you're playing a team that's put up 23, 34, 31, 30, 30.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
Oh
Despite your
yeah.
good defense, it's going to be tough.
Yeah,
So,
and I think this is the kind of game where D Hop and Travis Kelsey's dynamic is very important.
yep.
Somebody has to take center stage. These two guys are not guys that can split it. They just can't split the attention. One of them is going to have to step up and be the guy in this game, or I guess Xavier Worthy could show up with a moment or two, but those two guys in particular have to step up. And I think D Hop potentially can. Kelsey's the guy I would count on based on how good he's been the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
But the Chiefs have to have somebody in that receiving core that steps up and really takes charge.
Or you keep giving the ball to your best player the past 4 weeks in Kareem Hunt somehow
Yeah,
in 2024.
scoring touchdowns.
He
Doing a
is.
great job. He loves Kansas City, man. He's happy to be back.
You're right. Yeah, he is happy to be back. Maybe, never mind. Not going to go there.
Shouldn't
Anyway,
have done that.
yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Give me. I'm going to keep picking against them until they lose. Bills 28, Chiefs 21.
Yeah. Oddly enough, the thing that makes me think the Bills are going to lose the most is that they're a 2-point favorite. Give me the Chiefs just because I want to be right. Actually, I'd like to be wrong. I'd like to be wrong here. Give me the Chiefs. Yeah. The Bills' defense has been relatively bad. Give me the Chiefs 31, Bills 28. Probably a game-winning field goal by whatever kicker they just picked up because Butker's hurt.
Yeah.
All right.
Diamond they pull out from nowhere.
Yeah, of course. Sunday Night Football, Bengals, Chargers. Now,
love this game.
Me too. It on paper, maybe you don't, you look at this 4-6, 6-3. Chargers aren't, elite necessarily. But I like this game a lot. Can Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase play really well against a team that's not the Ravens so they could at least win? Come on. What are we doing here?
Dude, they've been doing it since they were in the league against the Ravens.
That's got to be the most demoralizing thing ever if you're Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. You go out and you have, Jamar Chase has just put up, I believe, the 8th best fantasy football performance in PPR since 2000 with that game.
Unbelievable.
And they lost. And Joe Burrow threw, 4 touchdowns and 400-something yards, 500, almost 500 yards, and they lost. That's just, it's got to just really kill you to see that.
I know. Yeah, to go 4-6 that way, too.
Yeah. Yeah, Jamar Chase is leading the league in touchdowns and receiving yards for wide receivers.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, it's because they brought back, a shell of Von Bell, named Von Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Trey Hendrickson's good for a game every other game, and Cam Taylor-Britt just needs help, man.
Yeah, please.
He's out there on an island, and not Revis Island, that's for sure.
No.
I'll eat my words on Chase Brown. All of the fantasy owners of Zach Moss, including myself, will take a moment of silence for that.
Yeah, shout out to Chase Brown. That man's been killing.
Shout out to Chase Brown.
Fantasy.
Yeah, targeted 11 times against Baltimore in the past game. And scored a touchdown in the running game.
That is the biggest asset. That's one of those things I brought up with Chase Brown at the beginning of the season before they even played any games. Is last year we didn't get to see as much as we wanted. He showed up late in that season while Mixon went down, and he was awesome. And I could see how they were going to utilize him. That's exactly what they've done. And with Zach Moss going down, it gave him an even bigger reason to step up. He was already, he stepped up multiple times early in the season. But once Zach Moss went down, he knew he had to step up. That's exactly what he's done. He's playing his role. Every now and then, he's getting 7 carries or whatever, or having a bad game in the running game, 7 carries, 30 yards, but he'll also have 5 receptions. So he's making his impact felt at all times, and that's what I think is so big about his performances. Let's talk about the Chargers real quick, though. I do like what I'm seeing from Herbert.
Oh, I love it.
I need to see consistency out of the receivers. That's where my
Yeah.
issue, like, Quentin Johnson will have a day, and then Lad McConkey has a day, and then Will Dissly gets like 9 fucking targets. Like, what the hell was that? Like, they wouldn't
Yeah.
stop throwing to Will Dissly. I'm starting him in fantasy this week. They're throwing to him so much. Like, I don't know. I need to find it. And J.K. Dobbins has certainly kind of pumped the brakes a little bit. Gus Edwards just not being used. Like, who the hell was it that ran in that touchdown for 1 yard? Because that's Gus Edwards' job.
Son Haskins?
Yeah. Why is he getting in the game on the 1 yard line? Gus Edwards' job is to score 1 yard touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It looks like the Ravens played. Looking at this box score, Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins accounting for 105 rushing yards together. Wow, it's so amazing. And then, yeah, I love this game for Herbert,
Me
from
too.
Herbert. 14 for 18 and 164 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
And you still put up 27 points.
Exactly.
So
It worked.
I just think, unfortunately, and this is even, I always like to preface this. I am a Steelers fan, but I think the Bengals might have. I think they might be able to overpower what the Chargers can do.
That's my
Unfortunately,
thought too.
but then again, like that. I don't know, like maybe if the Chargers get like 1 or 2 turnovers here, Herbert hadn't been turning the ball over. Maybe that's the difference that the Chargers can make is Burrow is turnover prone.
Yes.
Not last week, but I'm still gonna go with Cincinnati. I hate picking the Bengals here because I like the Chargers so much, but I'm gonna go 28-14. I think it could get bad.
Okay. I'm actually,
Yeah.
I like your points though. I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think they've just been doing what it takes to win. That's what Harbaugh is so good at. And I think he has the chance to just outcoach Zach Taylor is maybe my bigger thing here.
That is true, yeah.
I'm going to go with the Chargers just because I don't like how the Bengals offense has looked outside of those big games they've had.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to go Chargers 27, Bengals 24.
Okay.
All right. Monday Night Football, Texans, Cowboys. Texans win it in a blowout. You already know that's going to happen. 7.5-point favorites. Cooper Rush, and a pissed off CeeDee Lamb, pissed off Micah Parsons, pissed off Jerry Jones. Mike McCarthy's on the hot seat. I'm sure, I know it's going to be at 8:15. I'm sure the sun will be blinding somebody somewhere. That was so funny to everybody's attacking Jerry Jones about the sun because that is the biggest flaw ever in a stadium.
Oh, it sucks.
And it's even funnier that it hurt his team. But then to have Mike McCarthy in that,
holy shit,
press conference on like Monday or Tuesday, and they had to put something up to block the sun from blinding him while he was at the podium is hilarious. What were you about to say?
They're a fucking joke.
Yeah, I heard the holy shit.
Sorry, looking at the box score from the Eagles game, I did not realize that CeeDee Lamb played in that game. That is incredible. And on top of going in banged up, when you see a receiver have 6 receptions for only 21 yards and 10 targets, he was getting shit on by the Eagles probably the entire time.
Well, Cooper Rush is, for lack of a better term, he's just inept. There's nothing he can do right now on a football field that tells me he's a quarterback.
Yeah.
And it's not going to get better if you bring in Trey Lance.
No.
Like, it's just I can't possibly watch the Cowboys play football right now.
They let Kenny Pickett get into the damn game.
Bro, the Cowboys need Kenny Pickett.
No, they don't.
He would be better than Cooper
Please,
Rush.
no.
100%. He would be. I know you're mad that he sucked for the Steelers, but he would be better than Cooper Rush.
We'll see.
The Texans are going to beat the living shit out of the Cowboys.
Yeah. I bet the Cowboys are missing that free agent running back that they should have got as well.
They're missing any running back. Anybody.
Yeah.
Rico Dowdle has his moments, but God.
Dalvin Cook is there to do what? What are you paying him to do?
Be on the roster. They're paying him to be on the roster and show up to
It's
practice.
unfucking believable. Maybe the Cowboys don't. I mean, they don't have a chance, but I'm sure they're going to get to CJ Stroud a lot.
Yeah.
So, but it's still. I'm going to go like 24-9 Texans.
We got Micah Parsons trying to sack his podcast co-host. That's it.
Then no one's going to be there to stop him.
No, no, nobody will be stopping him. Laramie Tunsil, I think, is hurt now as well.
And that was your guy.
Yeah, that was your only guy that was playing well.
Only guy
on the offensive line. Texans 28, Cowboys 6. It's going to be
what a great week of the NFL.
Yeah,
Cowboys. It is saying something that we got through this in like 48 minutes.
It took like an hour.
Okay, I didn't realize we started.
Yeah, 4 teams on bye: Giants, Cardinals, Buccaneers, Panthers.
Oh man,
can't believe we have to not watch the Giants or Panthers or Buccaneers play football this week. I am gonna miss the Cardinals. I love watching the Cardinals, man. They are fun as hell.
The Cardinals and the Buccaneers.
I'm just gonna unwarranted call out, I guess. Ronnie, what are you doing? What the hell was that? Starting Daniel Jones over Kyler Murray. Daniel Jones can't even play well in America. What tells you he was gonna play well in Germany? All right.
Wild. Shout out Ronnie.
All right. I believe it's about time we move on from football. And we quickly go through some MLB offseason news. Not a lot, like I said earlier, not a lot to talk about here. Travis d'Arnaud signed a 2-year deal with the Angels. If he wasn't going to be a Brave, I knew for a fact he would have been an Angel, just because he's just going to play for the same coaches he was playing for the entire time he was a Brave. So shout out to Ron Washington. I'm sure you guys are going to trade him back to us at some point when, some catcher gets hurt and we have to pick up a backup catcher. That's that's what's going to happen. So shout out Travis d'Arnaud. Braves legend.
Shout out Travis
I will give him that status. Braves legend. Maybe Colt Hero is more the apt name. I don't know about Braves legend because we have some very legendary players in our franchise's history. So we'll go with Hero, Travis d'Arnaud. A lot of big, timely home runs in his career with the Braves. All right. Now it's into the rumors because nobody else has signed a meaningful contract. If you really want to know, the Braves traded for Nick Allen, who last year hit like 170.
Who the fuck is Nick Allen?
Hit 170 at the MLB level for the A's. He's a shortstop.
Yeah.
Okay, he's 26 years old, so there's no future to look forward to either.
Yep.
All right, rumors. Multiple teams pursuing Christian Walker. Very fun one that I'm looking at. What do you think?
I saw him in like a Yankees lineup.
That is
Christian
definitely
Walker.
one of the teams. So obviously the D-backs want him back for sure. Yankees, Mets, Nationals, top teams pursuing him. Nationals, I think, is an odd one. Was James Woods not playing first base, or was he playing right field when they brought him up? I don't know. It just doesn't seem like exactly the right fit. I could be wrong about James Woods. He might have been playing right field. Or Wood? Is it James Wood or Woods? Wood. Sorry. I guess. Oh no, he was playing left field. That's my bad. I just thought lefty batter, about 6'6". Figured he played first base, but no, that's on me.
Yeah.
So yeah, Christian Walker would be a good pickup for the Nationals, and I keep hearing the Nationals with a lot of guys, hearing their name, a number of times with different rumors. Starting to think that maybe they're realizing right now, the youth looked really good for them last year. Outside of C.J. Abrams' second half, the young guys in this lineup did their thing. It does suck that you trade away Lane Thomas and now he's with the Guardians. He was so good for the Guardians, but it sucks that you kind of traded him away because you were losing at the time. But the Nationals have a lot to look forward to. I'm glad that I'm hearing their name with these free agents that could be some good building blocks for this team. And there's a number of other teams that I think could be in the market as well. I think, if we're just looking at teams that need a first baseman that I haven't already mentioned, the Astros definitely need a first baseman, Twins, Mariners, Cardinals with Goldschmidt out, and Padres. I think the Padres could be in for a first baseman as well.
Mhm.
But for me, I think Christian Walker is the best first baseman available. Some people would say Pete Alonso. Obviously, I'm biased, but also this is something that an unbiased opinion should respect. He's kind of just a complete package. 95 home runs and 813 OPS over the past 3 seasons. In those 3 seasons, he's also won 3 straight Gold Gloves, and he leads first baseman with 38 outs above average since the beginning of 22. Pete Alonso in that span has a negative 17 outs above average. So you get a little bit of power, about a 30 home run guy a season. You get great RBIs. An 813 OPS is unbelievably good for a first baseman. And elite defense. 3 straight Gold Gloves in the NL at first base. That's pretty amazing when Freddie Freeman and Matt Olson and a number of other great first basemen are in that league with you. For him to be winning those 3 straight is huge.
Yeah, and he's 33 years old, so you could probably get him for maybe like 3 good more years.
Yeah,
3,
I think so.
maybe 2.
The first baseman's shelf life is pretty long.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
I think he would look great on the Yankees.
Yeah,
I think he'd be a fantastic fit.
Big upgrade. I feel like we've been scrambling to replace Teixeira. Yeah, like just
that was too long ago for that to be right, but you're so right.
Yeah, like I've seen Edwin Encarnacion.
Ooh, what a failed experiment!
Rizzo, Greg Bird.
Yeah.
Dude, he was so
Remember
fucking
Luke
horrible.
Voit? Luke Voit was so good for like a year and a half.
COVID.
Wasn't
his year the COVID year?
Yeah, he led the league in home runs.
Yeah, fever dream.
And the year before that, he was fantastic. I think he was a Rookie of the Year nominee.
He's in Mexico getting shit on by Trevor Bauer.
Yeah. Luke Voit, bad career after that.
Yeah.
He died to
but
COVID.
Yeah, the Yankees need something. He died to COVID. Yeah.
Bad joke.
Yeah. Yeah, bad joke. But and second base too. Like the Yankees really have a big infield to address. Like if we can, honestly, Christian Walker, Bregman, re-sign Soto, re-sign Jazz, and just go back to the World Series. It's really easy.
Yeah, it's that simple.
Super easy.
I like how you said. I like how you didn't even
Dominguez,
say win the World Series. You just said go back because you know they're going to disappoint you.
Exactly. You might get Trent Grisham in center field. Sorry, I'm going on a Yankees tangent.
No, go for it.
I'm fine if Jason Dominguez wants to play left field.
But that would mean.
But yeah,
Soto's
as far as free
bad,
agents, right? Oh wait, no, because Judge would be in center, Soto would be in right, and then Trent Grisham can play left field. No, you're right. Yep. Okay, Trent Grisham can. We'll take a hard pass and we'll keep the Martian.
Send Trent Grisham anywhere else.
Yeah, kind of scared about losing Jonathan Loaizaga. I totally forgot about him this season, and he's one of our free agents as well. I've always liked what he's been able to provide. And then Tommy Kangley, of course, I'm going to miss him as well. So we got some bullpen to do.
Yeah, definitely a lot of bullpen work for you guys to look out for.
Yeah, Clay Holmes can go. Verdugo can go. But I would like to hang on to Kangley and Loaizaga. I just don't know if it's possible. Tim Hill, I'd kind of like to stay as well.
Yeah, we'll see.
Rizzo can go.
So next thing, Buster Only reported that it is no longer a matter of if, but a matter of when Garrett Crochet gets traded. I have a feeling he'll be one of those moves we get at the winter meetings. Yeah, I know it's easy to forget about a White Sox pitcher. Very easy to forget, especially after the second half of the season was just for him. But
last time we really talked about him was trade deadline.
Yeah, well, we talked about him last week because we talked about how he would potentially, we potentially go to the Red Sox. But it seems like every team. Okay, think of a team that uses starting pitching every game. They want Garrett Crochet. That's how it looks right now. I think every single team that made the playoffs last year I saw was in the list of teams that are interested in him. Like Just
Nice.
everybody wants Garrett Crochet. He's elite, young, lefty, throwing 100.
Lefty.
It's literally everything you want in a starting pitcher, outside of he's only been a starting pitcher for 1 year of his entire career since like high school. So that is concerning, injuries wise, but potential injuries wise. But everybody wants him because everybody thinks that they're gonna get the best out of him.
What about the Orioles like kind of taking the L with Corbin Burns and going for Garrett Crochet?
I wouldn't mind it. They definitely have the youth to trade for him because the White Sox are going to be looking for talent. Essentially, the ideal package that the White Sox get is 4 to 5 prospects four prospects centered around one particular high ceiling, low floor prospect. Like it's got to be a guy, probably a top 30 prospect, or a guy who's already in the league that's done really good to start.
Yeah.
The White Sox have to get very good compensation out of him because there is not another name on that roster that is worth that right now.
No, absolutely not. Just realized that Shane Bieber is a free agent as well. That's a big deal. He didn't play much of last year, did he?
He played 2 games, and then we talked about how good he was playing, and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
Yep. Next thing, Juan Soto, to be exact, not Gregory or Giovanni. Juan Soto has meetings lined up with the Yankees, Mets, Blue Jays, and Red Sox. Blue Jays, he's getting a free meal out of you. Like, he is not going to Toronto. I'm going to look like a real idiot if he does, but he's not going to Toronto. Red Sox, you maybe have a chance only because of your brand, I guess, and your willingness to potentially pay him. And the Yankees and Mets are obviously the favorites.
Yeah. Man, he wouldn't do that to us, would he? He wouldn't do that to us.
Loyalty can only be bought in the MLB, unfortunately.
You think so?
For the most part, yeah. Loyalty can be bought in the MLB, and your 1 year of Juan Soto, I don't think bought his loyalty.
I don't know. He did make the World Series.
Yeah, and lost it in incredible fashion. Yeah. Really, really interesting fashion. Look, if I had to pick between Yankees and Mets, please go back to the Bronx. So you're not going to see me rooting for him to go to the Mets. That's for sure.
Dude, I will be at every fucking Braves and Mets game if he goes to the Mets. You will hear me on national television.
Yeah, Luke will be right behind Juan Soto. Just yelling.
I might have to make it out onto the field when he's in outfield.
Don't say that.
Jump up behind him.
Don't say that because the MLB knows everything. You're not even gonna make it into the stadium if you say that.
No, you're right. You're right.
Okay.
Because I love going to Braves games. I don't even like the Mets. I won't go see them.
Good. Jeff Passan put out a list of players that he says are on the trade market. I just wanted to kind of hit on this list, and we can bounce off of it if we want. But pitchers, pitching wise, you've got Garrett Crochet, Devin Williams. So I misinterpreted Devin Williams' team option. His team option was actually a mutual option, and the team decided that he could go, but he still has to be traded to go. Don't really understand that whatsoever, but Devin Williams is on the trade market. Ryan Helsley on the trade market. That might be a guy that your Yankees should be interested in, personally. I think he would be a fantastic closer for you guys. Many more Cardinals to come. Sonny Gray on the trade market as well. Just about any player on the Cardinals that's worth a shit is going to leave, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it's not good. Whatever's going down in St. Louis right now is not good.
Do you remember 2023 Sonny Gray?
Yeah.
That was
amazing.
Unbelievable
pitcher. Anybody would be lucky to have Sonny Gray. Honestly.
I agree.
Luis Castillo The Mariners have not seen a lot of success, at least the success they wanted to see. They've got a stacked rotation. I think you could maybe, afford to lose him if you're the Mariners because of what you'll get in return.
Yeah, it's a real bummer for me though that I am still going to pick the Mariners to win the AL West whenever we go back and do our division previews every time.
It depends on the offseason that the Astros have. If the
That's
Astros
yeah.
have the offseason that I think they might, I have a feeling they'll be right back to their winning ways, at least in our eyes.
You think they're going to lose even if they lose Bregman?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think they'll go out and just replace him, which I don't think
With
is
Juan
necessarily
Soto?
difficult. I'll say that. That would be crazy. Next one, Jordan Montgomery, obviously on the trade market, not a good first year in Arizona. And with them giving him so much money, they maybe just more want him off the books than anything.
That is true. Still a lefty and
Still a
still
lefty,
a
correct.
recent World Series winner.
That is
So
also
I
true.
think he's going to be a desired guy. I
For
think,
sure.
despite last season.
Yeah,
So
D-backs are going to get some calls. I don't know what they're going to be willing to jump on because I don't know if they necessarily want him out. It's just if the compensation looks right, then they'll take it. And then
yeah,
Rockies reliever Justin Lawrence, a guy most people probably don't even know about because nobody watches Rockies baseball. He's a dog. Absolute dog. Would be a fantastic pickup for anybody that needs help in the bullpen, which is everybody. Everybody needs help somewhere in the bullpen.
yeah,
Position player wise, I think your top names for the trade market, position player wise, which position players don't typically have a huge trade market in the offseason, especially not as much as pitchers. So maybe not the top tier names that you'll hear here. Well, that just felt
you're
weird.
here.
Yeah, that you'll hear here. But we'll start out with two Cubs, Nico Horner and Cody Bellinger. Bellinger was a weird one
Oh,
because he was a player option. He decided to stay with the Cubs, but they still might trade him. Because I think that's just,
wow.
in my personal opinion, I think the numbers work out well for them to trade him. I
Okay.
think Nico Horner should be on the trade block purely because I think he could play a really good shortstop, and he doesn't get that chance with Chicago. I think his ability is being limited at second base personally, and that might be a little bit of a hot take, but um, his ability to play at shortstop, I think, should get him the chance to really be shopped at by a lot of teams. I hope the Braves are in on him. But a lot of teams should be looking at him to potentially fill their shortstop void, not just second base.
Yeah, I would love him to replace Glaber.
Yeah,
To
and
be honest.
I believe he's a Gold Glover at second base as well. I think he won the Gold Glove
Yeah,
last year.
he is highly rated in my
Yes,
opinion. I love him.
yeah. Phillies third baseman Alec Boehm. I think it's just they
Mm,
don't want to pay him because they don't really know what's going to happen. Down the road. It also, if they do trade him, what I've been hearing is that if he's out, they're gonna go full pursuit on Bregman, which would be
yeah,
pretty scary.
insane.
Um,
That would be.
Cardinals third baseman Nolan Arenado, another third baseman that
Oh,
could potentially be out there making a move. He's a guy
the
that
platinum glove king.
I think could replace Bregman.
Oh God.
That would be an interesting trade move, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Astros
that
go
would
after
be
Nolan Arenado.
interesting.
I
Yeah,
think he would play really well at Minute Maid.
I wouldn't appreciate that.
Me neither. I don't even have to. I wouldn't really have to face him to the World Series, and I wouldn't want that.
Yeah. Yep.
You got Guardians first baseman
Well,
Josh Naylor, who I think could be a fantastic pickup for some teams. Just a dog, really. That's the biggest part of his game is that he's just gritty, and
yeah.
I think he would be an asset for just about anybody at first base. In the Rays, you got two guys that could definitely be out there: Brandon Lowe, whatever, and Yandy Diaz. Yandy Diaz, fantastic contact hitting first baseman, could be a huge asset to some teams. I think that's somebody the Yankees should show some interest in personally. If you're not going to get one of these top free agent first basemen, I think Yandy Diaz would be amazing for that team.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that at all.
He's a
I've
guy,
obviously seen a lot of Yandy,
yeah,
so
he's going to hit, 290 probably 290 to like 320 honestly.
yeah.
He's got the ability to do so. He's going to get RBIs if you put him somewhere where he can. He finds his way on base, though not really via the walk as much. But I think he'd be a tremendous asset. It doesn't play the best defense, I will say. You got Lamont Wade Jr. from the Giants, another first baseman that could potentially be on the market. Not as thrilled about him personally. And then Rockies second baseman Brendan Rodgers, who certainly was a highly touted prospect, hasn't necessarily been bad in the MLB, just hasn't quite reached his potential. And I think it's because there's just no interest in reaching your potential in Colorado.
That is true.
I would say most people are probably discouraged playing in Colorado.
I think the Yankees should do everything they can to get Brent Rooker.
Interesting. He's a DH.
Oh, is he not a first baseman?
No,
Ever?
no. I think he's DH and corner outfield.
Oh, I thought Brent Rooker was a first baseman this whole time.
I don't believe so. Maybe he's gotten a
Huh.
couple reps there, but not primarily. I believe he's primarily a DH.
I want to see.
293 last year. What a damn season for Brent Rooker. Holy shit.
I know.
Yeah, DH and outfielder.
And for what?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Oakland was decent.
Yeah, they were okay. Shout out Sacramento.
He played
Yeah, I don't know.
14 games in the outfield in 2024. Every other game he was a
the
DH.
rest were a DH. Yeah. Gotcha.
Mm.
Well, my mistake.
He
But
played
I did want to make
145
the
games.
point. Okay, yeah. I did want to make the point. A lot of the guys that you said, you kind of went into that saying that like they weren't they're not like star players or
Yeah.
anything, but like some of those guys could be real, needle movers for some
For
teams.
sure.
I
For
mean,
sure. They're not
there's
like,
a
they're,
lot of
there's
interesting guys there.
none of these guys are, top 10, maybe even top 15. Actually, no, definitely not top 15 position players in the MLB right now. But like you said, they're guys that will move the needle. They're guys that are going to step in, be, the number 2, number 3 option on the offense, probably even number 4 for some teams that could go out and get these guys. And they're just going to make an impact. The nice thing about a guy like Bellinger, Arenado, Naylor, Yandy Diaz, too, out of those guys, it's almost guaranteed results. Yeah, maybe it's not guaranteed they're going to have their best season of their career, but the worst we've seen out of these guys is far better than what you're probably getting out of some average guy that you've got on the lineup right now.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And of course, for Arenado and Nico Horner and Bellinger for that matter, the defensive part of this is huge. The defense that these guys bring to the table is giant. And when you have, it's hard to continue to put out a guy, even if he's hitting well, it's hard to continue to put a guy out in the field if he's not playing good defense.
Yeah.
And it's really discouraging when you do have to continue doing that.
Yeah, some teams get caught, or a guy pretty much plays a whole season of bad defense.
Yeah.
And it's just not fun. Glaber.
Yeah.
Damn. A little bit of a it's cold outside, so
yeah, it is.
Sniffles.
Maybe getting a little bit of a cold.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna shoot some unwarranted shots once again at you, kind of. Volpe for the whole second half of the season. Horrible defense.
Yeah, he made that really good play in the 5th inning, though. I'm so glad that we ended up coming back and winning the World Series. That was
yeah.
It was all because of that play in the 5th inning.
Easiest play you could have ever made.
Yeah. We haven't talked about Jurickson Profar. I'm seeing that he's a free agent.
He's just he chose the latest. He got hot in the darkest hour, like literally the final hour of the time. Like you couldn't have chosen a worse time to be like, don't forget I was the number 1 prospect ahead of, I'm pretty sure, Mike Trout and Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
What the fuck? You just waited for that? Like, he was awesome. In the second half of the season, he certainly slowed down, but he was awesome all year.
Yeah.
For the most part. And like was a big part of a Padres team that really showed up in the second half of the season. He's way past that point now. If it were 3 years into this career, he'd be good. What is he in? Year 7? Year 9?
Like, is he really?
Yeah, dude, he's been around a long time.
Well, I remember he spent time with the Rockies for a while, right?
I don't know about the Rockies. I know he was a Ranger is when he came up. This guy made his debut in
Jurickson Profar's
2012.
31?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my
We're
god.
going into year 12.
Dude, that does not feel like that at all.
Exactly. But this guy, he debuted at
Wow.
19 years old and did absolutely fucking nothing until 2024.
Wow. Yeah, that makes me sad. Jurickson Profar is 31 damn years
He
old.
was in
And yeah,
Colorado 2023.
he's a one-time All-Star and a one-time Silver Slugger, and it's last year.
Yeah, like I told you, it was literally the darkest hour. In the midnight
Yeah.
hour, he decided, "Oh wait, no, guys, don't forget, I was the number one prospect at one time."
Oh, he is a Little League World Series winner though in 2004.
That's very true. Very true. His little brother, I believe, he has multiple. There's a lot of Profars.
Oh yeah,
and they're all brothers. And I think he's the only one that's actually made it to the league, or at least played a number of years in the league.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's all I've got MLB wise. I don't have much else. I can see if we've had any news potentially, come across the desk. Oh, yes, we have. A report just came out that the Dodgers are viewed obviously as one of the top contenders. We already know that part. But Jim Bowden of The Athletic says that it is unlikely that Roki Sasaki signs with the Dodgers.
Thank God.
Unfortunately, I'm not, I guess fortunately, I'm not a loser, and I don't pay for The Athletic. I refuse to, actually. So I can't tell you why. But the Dodgers are seen as unlikely to sign Roki Sasaki, according to Jim Bowden. To do with that as you will. I can't read the article, so.
Yeah. That's
okay.
all I needed to hear, though, to be honest.
Yeah. It does give me like a little bit of hope going forward.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of baseball and head over to the Premier League, where we have an international break. If you haven't caught us on one of these Premier League check-in episodes before, I think we've kind of done this for the most part every time we go into an international break, at least at a kind of a good stopping point in the season. So we'll just kind of run bottom to top through the table. And, we'll stop on the teams we want to talk about. If not, we'll just kind of state our piece and move on. After we go through the table, we'll talk, some stats, leading goal scorers, whatnot. But let's start at the bottom of the table. Actually, overarching thing I'd like to point out. 11 matches into the season, everybody has a win. That's something we can root for right there. Every single team has a win. So shout out Ipswich for getting that done, and Wolves for getting that done right before the international break.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for going ahead and finding yourself 3 points somehow.
Yep.
But let's start at the bottom. The relegation zone is Southampton with in 20th. They have one draw, one win, and 9 losses. They have 4 points. Then Wolverhampton Wolves at 19 just got their first win, like I pointed out. They have 3 draws, 7 losses. Crystal Palace, who has Crystal Palace and I guess Southampton for the most part are really just feeder teams to the better teams in the Premier League. And Crystal Palace unfortunately had all of their good talent come in at the exact same time, and then all of it left.
Except for poor Eberechi.
Oh, man. Get him the fuck out of there. In January, get him out of there.
Yeah,
he does not deserve to be on a team that's going to get relegated, and they're probably going to get relegated.
I would pay a large sum of money to replace Crystal Palace and Everton. Get Everton out of the fucking Premier League, so help me God, but let Jeff McNeil stay. He can play for like West Ham or something.
Yeah, that's fair.
Please get Everton out of the Premier League.
West Ham could use all the help they can get. We'll get to them in a second, but fuck. Just outside the relegation zone, the team that I aforementioned got their first win of the year last week, Ipswich Town, a team that I said will not be relegated. Shout out to Kieran McKenna, their manager, for trying trying
For
to
what?
prove me right. Trying to prove me right.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got 8 points. So it's a hell of a start. To potentially staying
Yep.
up. We don't know. Okay.
And a lot
Everton.
of draws.
Yeah, a
as
lot of
well
draws.
to start the
5
season.
draws, 5 losses for them. Everton. What's your stance on Everton? Obviously, you said you want them out. What's the deal?
Yeah.
What? Why?
I
What's happened?
I don't know. I feel like this has happened to them for, a couple of years now where they've just been able to barely hang on by a thread.
Yeah.
I think it's been a lot of quiet transfer windows when they probably should be a lot more loud.
There's
And
nothing
yeah,
to
I just
bring
I don't
in, and there's nothing to send out. That's one of those things that really screws teams over with financial fair play, and it's what they ran into last year and why they got points deducted. Is that if you're not sending things out, you can't bring things in.
yeah.
And it's really hurting them because they clearly don't have the developmental system right now or the coaching right now to turn young, cheap players or youth academy players into Premier League level players. And it's eating them up.
Yeah, and even just looking at this, I totally didn't even. Oh my god, dude! Seamus Coleman still plays for Everton.
How old is he? 40?
I don't know.
He's got to
That's
be
insane.
so old.
And then a player that I forgot about, Jared Braithwaite, their
Yeah.
like star center back. He's coming off the bench against Southampton in the Premier League.
They were so dumb to be like, oh, I think they put the price tag at like 60 million on him this summer.
Yeah, for a
Oh my
British
God.
teenager center
Yeah,
back.
no, that like they were literally like holding him ransom.
Yeah,
Unreal.
yeah. Chelsea couldn't even pry him away.
Yeah. Nobody could.
I think, yeah, but then again, they have talent. Like James Tarkowski's been in the Premier League
Great.
for a long time. So is Ashley Young. Jordan Pickford, had kind of busted onto the scene and then unbusted onto the scine. He's
I
kind
think
of
the
just
term is
died off.
burst.
I'm gonna use bust.
Okay.
You don't like busting? Let me put some of this bust on you, bro.
Nope. Next.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin is
Sucks.
he's not Lukaku, and Dwight McNeil is not prime Ross Barkley, but Dwight McNeil is pretty sick.
That's true.
I will give him that.
You know what they're missing,
But
right?
what are they missing?
Richarlison.
Yeah, that's right. They're missing Richarlison.
Yeah. Let's talk about
I
Leicester.
think Richarlison's missing Richarlison.
Yeah,
but
he probably.
let's
is
talk
too.
about Leicester.
Let's talk about Leicester. There's not much to talk about.
It doesn't even feel like they should have gone down in the first place. They're
Yeah.
just back and
Right.
vibing.
Mid-season form.
So,
15th place.
yeah.
Yeah, they've got 10 points right now. They're 2-4-5. 2 wins, 4 draws, 5 losses. They give up a lot of goals. They don't score a lot of goals. It's why they're here. None of their players look good necessarily. All of them, I guess for the most part, look bad. If I had to use some adjective of some kind of opinion, they probably look bad.
Well,
yeah,
you have a very, very good goalie in Hermanson, and Facundo
Yes.
Bonanote, the teenager's
Yes.
been really, really good as well.
Yes.
So
there are things
other
to
than
look
that-
forward to. It's just, as a team, bad. Very bad.
is
Go ahead.
Jamie Vardy serviceable or more than serviceable or not serviceable?
God,
What do you think?
what a question. Yeah, he is a Premier League legend. That's the
Perfect
answer to that
answer.
question. There you go.
Yeah.
Premier League legend. Actually, no.
Jamie
Premier League hero. We'll go with hero once again. Jamie Vardy. That's all I have to say about how he's playing right now.
Okay.
He was damn good back in the day.
Yep.
Let's talk about West Ham at 14. They have. Okay, I know we're about to talk about a lot more teams. Is West Ham the most disappointing team this season so far?
Yeah, with their transfer
Yeah,
window, I would say so.
that's especially when you look at like the last 3 transfer windows. Every
Yeah.
single time they're bringing in great talent. James Ward-Prowse was a fantastic signing. Edson Alvarez looked like a great signing at the time. He hasn't really done all that much. Number of others, Kudus, all of them. And then they kept going. Fulkrug hasn't done anything yet.
Yeah.
All these signings they keep on making, yet it all stays the same.
Yeah, like looking at the Premier League table right now, I thought we were going to see West Ham where like Nottingham Forest, Brighton, or
Yeah.
like Fulham are
Yeah.
right now. But
I
absolutely not.
I
They're
essentially
extremely
thought
disappointing.
that West Ham was just going to be exactly what Fulham is right now.
Yeah.
They right outside
Yeah.
the top, playing pretty well, scores some goals, not like a crazy amount, gives up goals, not a crazy amount, like just kind of plays their game. They suck. Like in Manchester United probably has been the bigger disappointment, but they've made changes already. West Ham, I don't see them
Yeah.
making changes yet. And that's the part
I don't
that's
either.
scaring me.
Yeah. No, I'm right with you. Yeah, they definitely got some shit
Yes.
for sure.
Okay, well, let's talk about Manchester United, who's 13th. Obviously, the other biggest disappointment. But like I said, things have changed. Ruben Amorim is going to be manager. He already is technically taken over as of, I believe, the 11th. Has taken over.
Like 3 days ago. When we were
Um,
recording. Nice.
so he's there. Obviously, they're practicing now without a couple guys that are on international duty. But Manchester United, we should see something. Maybe not a huge change, but we should be seeing a little bit of a shift of the tides here, I think. It might
Yeah,
take some
I
getting
think so.
used to, but we will see some changes for sure.
Yeah, breath of fresh air. I also wanted to say shout out to the Manchester United fans for after the 3-0 win against Leicester. You had fans crying as Ruben Nistelrooy like walked off the
Yeah.
field.
Yeah, I saw a
And
TikTok of
that's
like don't fall in love the interim.
yeah, yeah.
People
Unless you're Chelsea.
really were happy with it.
Yeah, Chelsea had an interim manager win them the 2012 Champions League.
Yeah.
That's always crazy to me, but yeah, no, I really enjoyed that moment. Like that's exactly what you want. Like a club legend to come in at just such a shit time
Yeah.
and then put that product out on the field. Like genuinely, shout out Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That
Definitely.
was amazing.
Yeah, I'm
So,
looking forward to what we'll see out of Manchester United. I think we'll see a big difference, obviously, of what we see on the field and potentially the results. They start off versus Ipswich when they come back, so maybe we'll see some things on full display.
yeah,
Um,
potentially.
Next team is Bournemouth. So middle of the pack. they just like epitomize the middle of the table. Not as much as the next team we're going to talk about, but Bournemouth 15 goals for, 15 goals scored. 4 wins, 3 draws, 4 losses. Like everything about them. Look at their last 5. Loss, win, draw, win, loss. Everything they do just balances out.
Yeah.
They're just so middle of the pack. I would like to talk about Brentford. I have quite a few notes though about Brentford at 11 right now in the table. They're so odd. They really are. Because yes, Fulham is mid as it gets. Brentford isn't in the middle. They're just on the opposite end of everything.
Yeah.
They're at both each extreme every time. They've scored 22 goals, which is tied second in the league in goals for.
That's insane.
They've allowed 22 goals, which is tied second in the league in goals allowed.
Yeah.
They are the best team.
Shout out Brian Mbemo.
Yeah, Mbembo's been awesome.
Cut you off.
As well as Wissa. Is another guy who's been scoring a bunch of goals. They're the best team at home. In the entire Premier League, they are the best team at home. They are the only team with 16 points in 6 home games.
Wow. Dude, I'm actually so glad you're presenting these notes because I had no idea.
Yeah. Shout out to the Premier League for posting some of these stats. That's why I know this. And then away, guess what? tied second, worst away team. 5
Nice.
games away, 0 wins, a -7 goal differential.
Oh my god.
Not only 0 wins, 0 points. They haven't even drawn away from home.
That's insane.
Yeah, they are abysmal on the road. Like if they had won one game, literally one game away from home, they would be 7th in the table right now.
That's actually insane to think about.
Yeah. 3 points. The difference of
Yeah.
3 points would put them from 11th to 7th right now.
Yeah, it is relatively close, isn't it?
It's super close. From 3 to 13, I would say is close because from 3 to 11, it's a 3-point difference. Chelsea, Arsenal, Nottingham. I'm kind of spoiling things that we're about to talk about, but Chelsea, Arsenal,
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest, and Brighton all have 19 points. Brentford and Tottenham at 10th or at 10th and 11th have 16 points. It's unbelievable how close the top of the table is right now.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
It is insane.
But yeah, Brentford just absolutely is as mid as it gets.
Yeah, and then you have Liverpool being all boring.
Yeah, fucking losers. Well, the opposite.
Losers.
I
Yeah.
guess. Next team is Tottenham. Last time I checked, Ange is potentially the next manager to get sacked. That's what I'm hearing. Which is interesting because at the beginning of the season, I loved what Tottenham had to offer, and I still think they do a lot of things right. They don't allow a lot of goals. They have a great defense, but every now and then, fuck, do they suck. Like they have the most goals for in the Premier League. 23 goals scored. And they've only allowed 13. That's pretty good. It's about middle of the pack in goals allowed.
And they,
and they're still in 10th. Yeah. Like, I don't get it. 5 wins, 1 draw, 5 losses is not at all how Tottenham should look right now.
No. It is weird because, like, even though their manager's on the hot seat and they've looked bad, they've also had some really good wins this year.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, 4-1 over Villa and 4-1 over West Ham. And that's in the last month. Like, that's insane.
And then they got the best of City recently, didn't they, too?
I don't know. I know they play City as like their next game. They beat Manchester United 3-0. They beat Brentford 3-1. They beat Everton 4-0. I don't think they beat Man City.
They've not played City yet.
Yeah, they'll play City next week. Yeah, Tottenham, just a lot of things to figure out, kind of as per usual.
Yeah, right.
Next team, Aston Villa, which they're definitely kind of limping into this international break. You had a loss in the Champions League. You're coming off of 2 straight losses, which, it was Tottenham and then Liverpool, but still. Lost to Club Brugge in the Champions League, and then these 2 losses in the Premier League. You really just fell flat on your face right before you got to this international break. They've got to figure out their goal scoring. If they want to continue to contend with these top teams, they've scored 17 goals, which is not necessarily bad at all. But this is a team that is pretty well centered around playmaking and offense. Like they've also given up 17 goals, which maybe shouldn't be happening with how defensive-minded this team is. I talked about it a couple weeks ago with the Tottenham loss. With how defensive-minded this team is, why are they allowing so many goals? They really should not be, because at a given time, there's like 6 guys out there that are defensive-minded players.
I think for Villa, a lot of it I think is depth. We harped on them last season for like seemingly having really good depth coming off the bench, but when you add European soccer, especially in Villa's case, I feel like they've kind of gotten exposed in that regard. Like their depth is not as good as they thought it was.
What happened to Newcastle
and I think that's
last
hurt
year?
them a lot. Yeah.
Same thing.
No, yeah, same thing. But yeah, Aston Villa have struggled in the Premier League. I don't think Ian Maatsen has really been what they intended. Johan Duran has had his moments, but he shouldn't be outperforming Ollie Watkins.
Holly
He
Watkins has
needs to
been a
show.
stinker.
He needs to show up
Yeah,
big time.
he's
And
been
John
horrible.
McGinn. John McGinn has always been a reliable player for Newcastle. I haven't really seen, a
Villa.
lot of display. Or sorry, yeah, for Villa. Haven't really seen a lot of like good stuff from John McGinn
No.
on display for Villa this season as well. So yeah, they find themselves in a weird spot. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, you got a little bit ahead of yourself, but now we're going to talk about Newcastle. Certainly as good a form as they could be on to come into this international break. They looked horrendous. 2 straight wins, 1-0 over Arsenal, 3-1 over Nottingham Forest. That Nottingham Forest win was absolutely massive for this team, I think.
Oh yeah.
You needed a win like that. And with how Nottingham Forest has been rolling, one of the best defenses in the entire league, probably the best, if not probably second best behind Liverpool this season. But to go out and win and score 3 goals against this against this Nottingham Forest team was absolutely massive for Newcastle.
Yeah, you also kept Chris Wood from scoring as well.
Yeah,
He's been hard to stop from doing that.
definitely. Definitely. Yeah,
Um,
I'm happy with the way that things are kind of turning for Newcastle right now. I've been very critical of them over the last couple of weeks, just
yeah.
because I need to see results. That's how it is. In past years, it was, or especially like last year, it was just like nobody's healthy, nobody's healthy, nobody's healthy. Yeah, we have some injuries right now, but this is the team that you got to ride with, and right now they're looking really good, but there's nothing stopping them from tripping and falling again.
I'm a big fan of Livramento and Lewis Hall.
Oh
I like
man,
that
I love
pairing a
that
lot.
pairing.
Yeah.
Anything but Dan Burn at left back just gets me going.
Yeah, he played center
would
back
I could
against
go for
Nottingham
everything.
Forest.
That's fine. He's built like a center back. It
Yeah.
makes sense that he's playing there. If it were, an ideal world, Sven Botman would be healthy. Dan Burn wouldn't even touch the grass. Um,
Yeah.
if it were my choice. I know grew up lifetime Newcastle fan, and I'm only, a year into this, but I hate him. Maybe that's why. Maybe
That's fair.
I'm too
That's
new
fair.
to like him. Let's talk about Fulham. They are just kind of mirroring Newcastle all season. They've just been doing the same things every
Yeah.
time. These last 2 weeks, 2 straight wins. Now, it was Brentford and Crystal Palace, which is very different than Arsenal and Nottingham Forest. But
It's true.
Fulham just finds ways to win. 5 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses. They just kind of play it close with everybody. The thing is like your losses are probably, realistically the teams you should be losing to. Outside of maybe Manchester United, which that was the beginning of the season, and then things have really changed. But match week 1, you lose to Manchester United. Your only other 2 losses, Man City and Aston Villa, which are teams that Fulham should be losing to. And
Yeah. That
your
is true.
wins, Leicester, Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, Brentford, Crystal Palace. Those are teams that you should at least either be contending with or beating, for sure.
Yeah.
So it's not really a
Definitely,
bad
definitely.
look. I think Fulham is just in a position where they're winning the games they need to win. Yeah, they're drawing some games here and there. They're losing the games they probably should lose. That gets them to 7th in the table right now. But once we get later into the season, every now and then they're probably going to lose a game that they should have lost or they should have won. That's where you really kind of fall out of the top and end up more towards that, 9th, 10th place.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know how long Fulham's going to be able to sustain kind of the way that they're playing.
Yeah.
Unlike, some of the other teams, I feel like they're a little bit more consistent, I guess. I'm more
Definitely.
bought into other teams.
Definitely.
More bought into Newcastle than
Yeah.
Fulham.
Let's talk about Brighton because they've been, good, but just too many draws. It's kind of been the story for, honestly, 3 through 6. Drawing 4
Yeah.
times is crazy at this point in the year.
It is.
And the
Yeah.
fact that all 4 of those teams have is even crazier. But Brighton, it started off they started off hot. 2 straight wins. It was Everton and then Manchester United. 3 straight draws. Then they lose to Chelsea in that 4-2 game. 2 straight wins after that. A draw with Wolves, a loss to Liverpool, and a win against Man City. Brighton's playing well. They just need to put it all together somewhere.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they're always been able to score goals, not as much as some other teams have, but
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like they don't really have a lot of like complete like good team win games. They're
Yeah.
always kind of having to make up for something somewhere. But shout out Danny Welbeck.
Definitely.
That's the glaring
Definitely.
reality here is shout out Danny Welbeck.
Yeah. What I'm looking for from Brighton is just like string together like 3 wins in a row. And then I'll
I
be like,
dare you.
okay, you got it. Like you guys are
Yeah.
here. But right now it's just there's no consistency. Nottingham Forest has been the surprise of the year, 100%. They're number 5 right now on the table, tied on points with
Man.
Brighton, Arsenal, Chelsea. Um, they've got the second best defense in the entire league. 10 goals allowed, only 15 goals scored, but they're certainly scoring them. My question is, do they have the squad and the depth to keep this up?
Probably not.
That's
I don't
my
think so.
concern.
But they look so good right now
They
though. That's the
do,
thing. Like
man.
you to think like them having one of the best defenses, and of course, like Matt Sells is there. Matt Sells has been a phenomenal
Yeah.
goalie all year long. You also have like, oh, is he hurt? Hang on, sorry, little intermission. Okay, never mind. I'm thinking of someone on Brentford.
Oh,
But on top of having one of the best defenses, you also have a Golden Boot contender. Well,
yeah.
I don't think you have a contender when
Yeah.
Erling Haaland is in the league, but like a second place contender at
Yeah.
least. I mean, Chris Wood and Brian Mbemo are kind of fighting it out behind Haaland, and I mean, what more could you ask for than one of the best defenses and a striker like Chris Wood?
Yeah, it's working out
So
very well. I think if they would have avoided a loss against Newcastle, I'd be looking at them
they'd
in a
be
way
looking good.
different light because even with a draw, they'd be at 20 points, sole possession of third place. With a
I don't know
win,
if I could handle that.
22 points if they would have won that match, and their sole possession of third place and just 1 point behind Manchester City. That's a huge difference.
Massive difference, yeah.
And honestly, I think that loss kind of does, hurt them a bit. And the fact that they come back against from this international break with Arsenal, who they're drawn on points with, is a big deal. Lucky for them, or maybe unlucky for them, Arsenal's been on 4 straight games of no wins. 2-0 loss to Bournemouth, 2-2 draw with Liverpool, 1-0 loss to Newcastle, 1-1 draw with Chelsea. If you're Nottingham Forest, you're hoping that momentum sticks because it's obviously not helping them. But there's a chance that Arsenal comes out of this international break and they turn things around. So Nottingham Forest, you're just kind of, that you have to bring your best no matter what against Arsenal. You're just hoping that Arsenal doesn't do it too.
Yeah,
That's the biggest
pretty
thing.
much.
And so with Arsenal, I think the goal scoring's there, but it's not necessarily from the people we expect it from. And there's zero consistency of what the team sheet looks like week by week. Mikel Arteta is just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. None of it sticks. Literally none of it works. And somehow he's still finding points where he can.
What would I think and totally fix Arsenal is if they had a striker that could start every game.
Yeah. Because look, Gabriel Jesus is fine. He's
Uh,
he's
I
okay.
don't think so anymore.
Not anymore, but he can go out, and when he's 100% healthy, he's fine. He can't stay healthy whatsoever, so it doesn't even matter.
The other guy that they play is a 1,000,000% bell end. 1,000,000%. I hate Kai Havertz.
He's so bad.
Yeah, shout out to the goal that got disallowed. Thanks for shushing the Chelsea fans for nothing, you dickhead. Also, shout out to Levi Colwill for putting him on his ass. Shout out to Reece James for putting him on his. Sorry, I need to stop. That was a little bit weird what just came over my body, but yeah, he's not a striker, and
No,
I
never
actually, I'll
was.
give this to him. Yeah, never was, and that's exactly the point I was going to make. Is you brought him from the Bundesliga as a incredible cam. And his career was just ruined by Premier League teams needing strikers.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's Kai Havertz for you. But yeah, Arsenal find themselves in a weird spot. I thought that they would have been a lot better even at this early point in the season. Yeah,
Okay.
they're hanging on.
Okay, well, I'm going to let you off the leash again. What do you think about Chelsea at number 3?
Um, really, I'm so happy with us finding ourselves here. It feels kind of like the success of the old Chelsea, or at least the same vibe. It's not the same success, but it's the vibe. Um, but I hate that like brought in so many players that are just gonna probably end up leaving, like Enzo and
Yeah,
Mudryk, probably on their way out. To be honest,
probably.
um, and as far as the Premier League season, like we started hot. I think our goals for is really nice right now at 21. I think it's a little bit inflated from a couple of
Yes,
games where
that's
we've
what I
just
was
kind
going
of
to say.
routed teams. And these last 3 games that Chelsea have found themselves in, the tie with a interim head coach United. I think he was still.
Yes.
I think Ruben Nistelrooy was still coaching them, but like the tie against Arsenal was just frustrating, and like the win against Newcastle was good, but I still felt like we should have outplayed them just a little bit better. The only thing that's offsetting it is like in the Conference League, we're scoring like 9 goals a game.
Yeah, Conference
Like
League's bad competition.
it's horrible. But yeah, I'm like I said, very thankful and happy with Chelsea being in third place. But these last 3 games have kind of made me a little bit concerned.
I would even say your last 5 is something to kind of look out for. Yeah, 1-1 with Nottingham Forest, I guess right now with how good their defense is fine. 2-1 loss to Liverpool makes sense, but that you guys were in a position where like if you had gotten a few extra points here and there, if you would have, turned one of those draws or that loss into a win, this would be a big difference in the conversation we're having about Chelsea right now.
Oh,
But
100%.
that
Especially
4-point gap between them and Man City feels so big right now with how close it is, like we mentioned, between, number 3 and number 11 in the league.
yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly.
let's talk about Manchester City. Easily the worst that Pep Guardiola has looked at all in his Manchester City tenure. Um, Coming off 2 straight losses, 2-1 with Bournemouth, 2-1 with Brighton. That shouldn't happen. It's not like
No.
those are, tough loss. Those 2 losses shouldn't happen in the entire season for Manchester City, let alone back-to-back weeks. I don't know what Pep's doing wrong, and I don't know if it's necessarily Pep doing it wrong. This team just doesn't look the same, and I can't put my
No.
finger on it.
No, not at all. Why do you know why De Bruyne came in as a sub
I couldn't tell you.
against Brighton?
I don't know. I don't know what is happening for Manchester
Yeah,
City right
and
now.
also Bernardo Silva replaced Ilkay Gundogan, who just got brought back to the team
Yeah.
this year. Bernardo Silva's been on the team. That's kind of that's a little bit weird. Yeah, I really couldn't tell you. I can't remember a time where I also have seen Manchester City play this bad.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, really bad losses too. It's not even like you played a contender like
No.
Liverpool or yeah, you just lost to
Yeah.
bad teams.
Yeah. Like, prior to that, prior to those 2 losses, they were undefeated. They,
Yeah,
they were 7-2-0. Like,
they won every game in October,
yeah. In November, just kicked their ass.
and it's only the 14th.
Yeah, luckily they have a week off.
True.
But
True.
let's talk about Liverpool at the top. I feel like we don't need to spend too much time because we're going to
Jesus
repeat this
Christ.
conversation for the Champions League. But they're unbelievable. They really are. Their only draw of the season was at the end of October against Arsenal, 2-2. Their only loss of the season was very early on. Match week 4, they lost to Nottingham Forest, who we've now seen is potentially a contender up at the top. This Liverpool team is unbelievable, and they're in the first year of Arne Slot.
Yeah.
Like, they
Yeah, this
had
was a
a
transition.
world-class manager up and leave. And he announced it, like, pretty late in the season last year.
Yeah.
And all of the sudden, it's like the best Liverpool has played. It's the worst Manchester City and Arsenal have looked in a couple years. Jurgen Klopp got out at the wrong time.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, this team has genuinely everything. Like
Yeah.
Curtis Jones coming off the bench, dog. Joe Gomez has always been decent. Wataru Endo is kind of
Yeah.
figuring himself out as a role player in this team, and Cody Gakpo is starting to look, decent as well. Um, it's just that what they're doing is totally unfair. You're getting like prime Virgil van Dijk in 2024 after kind of having like a meh Euro. Um, Alexander Arnold looks good. Like just
Yeah.
they're flying right now. They're the best team in the world. Would you agree?
Yes.
Right now they're the best team in the
100%.
world. Yeah.
Them, and maybe Barcelona with how obviously the start of the season wasn't perfect for Barcelona. The way it looks right now, I would say Barcelona's up there. But also Barcelona does not play nearly as good of defense whatsoever. No. They just score so many fucking goals that you can't keep up.
Yeah,
and that's not really Liverpool's game. 21 goals for, they're tied, third, fourth, tied fourth in the league right now. And goals for, it's just they've only allowed 6. That's 4 less than second.
Yeah, they're the only single-digit goals allowed team.
Yeah.
Left.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And they'll probably be that way for probably a few more weeks.
Yeah, and their goal difference is plus
15.
5 over who has the next highest, which would actually be Tottenham.
Yeah, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liverpool, they're world beaters right now. And
they are.
Actually, no, we don't need to talk about the leading goal scorers. It's Erling Haaland and then everybody else.
And Mbemo, Chris Wood. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, and Mbemo, Salah as well at 8.
Oh yeah, Salah.
But we were speaking of Liverpool being world beaters. Let's talk about what they're doing to the rest of the world in the Champions League. Let's just continue the conversation to Liverpool in the Champions League.
Yeah. Go from bottom up to top down?
Yeah, we'll go top down because I think the top teams are a little bit more important to talk about here in the Champions League. Liverpool won't lose. They're the only team with 4 wins through 4 matches in the Champions League, and they're all pretty strong victories. 10 goals for, 1 goal against. Try them. I dare you to. I dare you to try Liverpool right now. 9 goal differential, only team with a better goal differential in the Champions League. Barcelona with a 10 goal differential.
Imagine that.
It's because they've scored 15. Liverpool is just unreal. They're really unreal. It doesn't matter where they're playing, when they're playing, what day, what time. Like it just does not matter whatsoever.
Yeah, something that's going to be worth monitoring, though, going ahead and going down to second place is what is Sporting going to do with losing their manager to Manchester United?
Yeah,
at least in the Champions League.
I think they take a clear step back, if I had to guess. You could only assume that they take a large step back because Ruben Amorim was the reason this team was playing so well, in my opinion.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Gyökeres can play without him.
I think he'll be just fine. That guy can score some fucking goals. But
yeah, he can.
We'll see what happens. I just think it's honestly interesting. We're about to talk about the rest of the top 4. Top 4 goes English team, Portuguese team, and 2 French teams that aren't PSG. Monaco is third here in the table, and Monaco has lucked out. Other than the win over Barcelona, which was truly unreal, they haven't really played the strongest of opponents, and the worst is still to come. You have to play your next 4 matches, your final 4 matches of the league stage. Benfica, who have certainly shown the ability to win some games here. Arsenal, Aston Villa, and then Inter. That might be the worst schedule you could have for the last 4 games of this league stage. So I don't know if we should really buy in just yet on Monaco. Brest, on the other hand, who is in 4th right now, maybe you could. You maybe could. Yeah, they're going to lose against Barcelona when we come back. But PSV, Shakhtar are the next 2 games after that. Those are probably wins.
You got some chances there.
Then you have Real Madrid to close things out. But with the position that Brest is in right now, that Real Madrid match might just be the decider between if they get a bye to the round of 16 or if they have to play in the playoff round. If I'm Brest, that's a fucking win to me.
I agree.
Like, that's a win of a Champions League campaign already.
They're 12th in league, and Monaco is 2nd.
Yeah. They've got nothing to play for outside of the Champions League right now.
Absolutely not.
How funny would it be if they got relegated and won the Champions League? How would that work?
Oh man, I think that it would
Surely
just
that's an
be there'd be a black
unprecedented
hole.
problem.
It has to be, yeah.
Yeah.
FIFA would have a meltdown.
Oh yeah, UEFA wouldn't know what to do with themselves. But
No.
yeah, Brest, dude, they're fun. They score goals. They don't allow goals. They've only allowed 3 goals. Like they're a fun team to watch, and they're competitive.
Yeah,
Though they will get
definitely.
exposed by Barcelona. Inter has been the team that I really want to talk about. They're one of 2 teams that through these 4 matches hasn't allowed a goal. Unbelievably
Oh,
so.
wow.
They have not allowed a goal. They've scored only 6 though. That's the concerning part. They've only scored 6 goals, but they've won 3
In 4
matches off
games.
of those 6 goals.
Yeah, shout out Inter, man.
Yeah, I really don't know where it's coming from. Like they're 2-1-1, or sorry, 3-1, with just 6 goals scored. It's kind of unbelievable. Next is Barcelona. Obviously, you know how it goes for Barcelona. They've got 3 wins. They got 1 loss. That loss was obviously to Monaco, like we mentioned, in the first match of the Champions League. But 15 goals, 5 goals allowed isn't even really the worst. Necessarily, it's not really that bad. It's just some teams are just so elite right now at defense. Barcelona's okay with giving up some goals because they're scoring so many. They have the most goals scored by 2, and that is over the next team, which is Borussia Dortmund, who's also 3-0-1. They've scored 13. They've given up 6. This team really surprised me. I thought they were going to take a huge step back. Yeah, they lost in a devastating way against Real Madrid, that 5-2 loss. But outside of that game, they've looked great. It's just, Sturm Graz and Celtic and Club Brugge that they've beaten. So I don't know how much to buy in on. That's the thing.
Yeah, we'll have to see with them.
Number 8, Aston Villa. We've already kind of talked about them. Disappointing loss in that last match against Club Brugge, but like we said, they've just been on bad form in general for the last couple of weeks, so kind of fell in line. Next team, Atalanta. At
Atalanta.
9,
Let's go.
0 goals allowed. The other team that has not allowed any goals is Atalanta. How? What are they doing? What's in the water in Italy that is making teams not allow goals?
I don't know. I mean, you know what they say about Italian defenses. Just don't look at AC Milan's.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah. Don't look at AC Milan's defense. It's good note there.
yeah, they
Or
haven't lost a
Bologna.
game either.
Bologna. Well,
Or
don't look at
Bologna,
Bologna's
yeah.
offense. Actually, just don't do that.
Don't look at Bologna.
They haven't scored a goal. Spoiler. They're the only team.
Yeah, no, Atalanta have been doing something great. I don't know any of the players that are in their defense, but they're also second in Serie A. Too.
Yeah, I
So
don't know
shout
any
out
of their
Atalanta.
defensive players. I know Adamola Lookman is good. That's all I know.
Okay, solid.
He's an offensive player. Manchester City, there's not much to talk about for Manchester City. They're playing average, just like they are in the Premier League. Average to Manchester City's standards.
Just like Juventus.
Yes, just like Juventus. Exactly. I don't really care to talk about Juventus at all. I want to talk about Arsenal. They have 2 wins,
talk about
1
Arsenal.
draw, 1 loss. They've scored 3 goals. And they've
very
allowed
lucky.
1. Their 1 loss, they lost 1-0 to Inter, who has, 4 clean sheets. But what boring games these are. Atalanta 0, Arsenal 0. Arsenal 2, PSG 0, and then Arsenal 1, Shakhtar 0, and then they lose 1-0 to Inter. Give us something.
Yay.
This is just further proof of that, what you talked about, how they just don't have a striker with any shred of consistency or, honestly, a shred of goal-scoring ability whatsoever.
Yeah. Exactly right.
Leverkusen's been fine. Not great, not bad. I kind of saw this coming. I saw a bit of a step back coming for Leverkusen. I didn't know how they would balance Champions League. Obviously they were playing Europa League matches last year, and they were undefeated until the Europa League final, I think, is when their unbeaten streak came to an end. But this year it's just not been quite as good.
Oh, sorry. I did.
Go ahead.
I keep cutting you off. I apologize. They've also been exposed. I feel like in
Yes.
the Champions League sometimes, like their loss to Liverpool was bad.
Oh yeah,
Bad.
really bad,
So.
really bad loss to Liverpool. But it's also Liverpool. I think everybody right now would lose like that.
Yeah, and then 14th, Lille
Yeah.
has the golden boot
Yeah.
right now with Jonathan David, and they're 14th.
Actually, I thought Jonathan David was tied second with 4 goals.
Tied first with 6
Oh, that's weird.
among the entire competition. So like probably the pre-Champions League games.
Ah,
Yeah,
gotcha. Gotcha. Because if we're talking main tournament, um, the goal leaders are it's a 4-way tie between Harry Kane, Gyökeres, Lewandowski, Rafinha with 5, and then Vinny and Jonathan David both have 4.
that's a great list of strikers there.
Certainly is.
Hmm.
But yeah, what team were we on? Sorry, I totally got distracted.
Lille.
Yeah, look, they've been fun. They pulled off the win against Real Madrid. They pulled off a win against Atleti. Otherwise, they've been fine. They've caught lightning in a bottle a couple times. Otherwise, it's just been a fine campaign. It's better than they probably expected. I'll give them that. Shout out to the French teams that aren't PSG.
Yeah.
Next is Celtic. They've certainly surprised some. Now, Bratislava, not an impressive win, and the 7-1 loss to Dortmund was concerning for their health, honestly.
Yeah.
3-1 over Leipzig is awesome, other than the fact that Leipzig is one of the worst teams right now in the Champions League.
That is true. Yes. Yeah,
Man.
surprised to see them at 15th here.
Yeah.
Even the team under them, like, are as a podcast, are we giving Dynamo Zagreb enough credit for being the last 7 points team?
Let's pump the brakes right there.
Uh-oh.
Bayern Munich, a 9-2 loss to open up the campaign.
Solid.
2-2 draw with Monaco. 2-0 over Salzburg, 4-1 over Bratislava. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves here with Dinamo, because their remaining schedule not easy. They've got Dortmund, who have the second most goals scored in this competition. Then they have Celtic, who has obviously been there, Arsenal, and then Milan. So there's a shot there with how Arsenal and Milan are underperforming, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't move too fast just yet with Dinamo Zagreb. They still have a -2 goal differential
spot,
because of that opening loss.
That is true. Yeah.
They're ahead of
9-2 is
Bayern Munich,
wild.
which is unbelievable. The team that beat them 9-2 is ahead of them because Bayern lost, which, look, Bayern, potentially the hardest schedule, if not the hardest schedule, to start out. You go, you beat Dinamo Zagreb, and then Aston Villa, Barcelona, Benfica. Unbelievably difficult. And it doesn't necessarily get easier the next time out. They play PSG, which, PSG we'll be talking about. Luckily, last 3 matches, Shakhtar, Feyenoord, Bratislava. They should be able to clean up there. Shouldn't be any questions about them getting in. It's really just about, can they potentially hold on? Because, with 2 losses, you might not see a single 2-loss team up in that group that jumps to the round of 16. So Bayern Munich might just be playing for, playing a lower seed in the knockout phase.
Yeah, that is true.
And they're followed by Real Madrid, which is crazy.
Yeah. Real Madrid find themselves in a shitty kind of spot, but it's also Real Madrid, so we'll see them in the final against Liverpool.
Probably. They also lost 3-1 to Milan, so I wouldn't say that there's much to look forward to. They play Liverpool to open it up when we come back.
Yeah.
And then it's Atalanta, which, have certainly shown their ability to win some games. Salzburg, which will be a win, and then Brest, which shit, they could lose 3 of these games.
Yeah, they could. They could. As soon as they get over the fact that, their player didn't win the Ballon d'Or, I'm sure they'll be able to, get back on track, which is just wild that I even said that sentence, but it's true. So
yeah, no, they're still busy crying. And Mbappe is just striking, I guess. Not to be confused with doing his job, which is playing striker. I think he's going on strike.
Oh yeah, that Thierry Henry video that you sent me last, I think it was literally last Thursday, was very good. I appreciated that reaction from Thierry. And Mbappe can go fuck himself, honestly.
Agreed. Let's run through these last couple teams in the knockout phase places. You got Benfica, who have, at times they show up, at times they really don't. Same with Milan. Feyenoord, they're whatever, man. They're a Dutch team in the Champions League. That's the role they're playing. Club Bruges found some wins. Sturm Graz, Aston Villa. Otherwise, not much to write home about for Club Bruges. They're happy to be here, I think. Atleti certainly underperforming, considering they've played probably the hardest up there with Bayern to open up their campaign. Has not been an easy route, that's for sure. 2-1 loss or 2-1 win over Leipzig, and then 4-0 against Benfica, 3-1 against Lille, 2-1 against PSG. They win, the first and the last of those. Luckily, their last 4 games: Sparta Praha, Bratislava, Leverkusen, Salzburg. You got the potential for Atletico Madrid to win out, which would obviously turn around this campaign heavily.
Yeah, they're on the thread, man.
They are.
They are on the thread.
And the thing is because there's only been 4 games played, even though we're at the halfway point, Atletico Madrid is, 1 point away from 16th place or 17th place. So it's like,
Yeah.
you gotta take things with a grain of salt right now, because if a team had a hard start, they could really jump up the table in a matter of weeks.
I think it's just with this new format, it's just weird to see some of these teams so low, even though it's not actually really that bad.
Definitely.
Of, place. But yeah.
Yeah. PSV comes in the final spot in the knockout phase playoff spots. Only team with 5 points, which is odd.
Wow.
They've got 1 win, 2 draws, 1 loss. But I don't really care about them. PSG, what the hell are you guys doing? What is Luis Enrique doing?
Well, they're undefeated in the Ligue 1.
Maybe that's where all their attention's going.
Yeah,
because -2 goal differential. You've only scored 3 goals. Oh, come on. Girona is a team you should have beat by more than 1, because Girona's been bad. We'll talk about them. 2-0 loss to Arsenal. They can't even score goals. They scored 2 of them against you. 1-1 with PSV, and then a 2-1 loss to Atleti. You got to be better than that against those opponents. Like, that's not even necessarily the toughest guys you'll see in this Champions League, especially this year. You got Bayern Munich still to come, then Salzburg, Man City, Stuttgart. I don't know what I'm going to see from PSG in those 4 games at all.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because they definitely have the talent. They're just not displaying that whatsoever in the Champions League campaign.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to kind of sprint through these, and then we'll touch on Leipzig. That's it. So your next team: Sparta Praha, Stuttgart, Shakhtar, Girona, who's been a huge disappointment, Salzburg. Then we get into your teams that haven't won a game yet. Bologna hasn't even scored a goal yet. Luckily, they got a draw in the opening game. Then they are the only team that has 1 draw. Everybody else that's left, the 5 teams, have 0 points, and one of them is Leipzig. 4 losses to start their campaign. And it's all very good teams. I'll give them that, other than maybe Celtic, but not a position they would like to be in whatsoever. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know if just the Red Bull brand is cursed. I don't get it. But they suck, and they can't score goals. They've only scored 4. They've allowed 9. After them, Sturm Graz, Young Boys, Red Star Belgrade, Bratislava, kind of your usual suspects.
Usual suspects. Yeah. It's a great format though. I'm enjoying all of
I love it. So. I love this format so much. Okay. We will call it there, because I just checked my watch.
No.
I just checked my watch.
Is it questions time?
It sure is questions time. Sure is that time. I know it's a hard thing to grasp. Sometimes you just never want the Champions League to end. But every now and then we do have to do our favorite segment on this show. Every now and then we do. But the nice thing is that somehow Nathan knew that we were going to enjoy the soccer segment of the show so much, because these are all soccer hypotheticals.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll start out with a hot one, which I clearly know my answer to. Would you rather have prime Neymar, Suarez, Messi, or Vinny, Mbappe, Rodrigo? Dude, what? What? Rodrigo is in this conversation, and that's why it's over. I don't give a fuck about prime Rodrigo. He changes nothing for me.
Yeah, that's that one's pretty easy. I'm definitely gonna have to go with MSN for obvious
Let me
reasons.
go
Some of the
ahead and
greatest
just
soccer that's ever been
I'm
played.
rewriting the question right now. We'll just go those amazing El Clasico matchups: Neymar, Suarez, Messi, or Ronaldo, Benzema, Bale.
Give me big black cock.
Okay.
BBC. Or wait, no, that's not even it. No,
Nope.
it is it. It is
Well,
it. It is
if
it.
you read it
Benzema, Bale,
that way.
Cristiano.
If you read right to left, yes.
Yeah. No, I was always a more of like a Real Madrid guy, come El Clasico, so
I
I
was a
definitely go
Barcelona guy.
BBC. Yeah.
Um, and I still am. So yeah, Neymar, Suarez, Messi. If you had to play the rest of the season for your club, what position would you play and who would you replace? Center back, left center back, Dan Burn.
um,
Or right wing.
fuck.
We could use some help there.
I will
Not that I could play
take.
that position, but right wing.
Let me do some research here because for some reason I cannot think of who. Did Chelsea move Malo Gusto to left back?
They might have.
Yeah. Oh.
Or is it Kukurea still playing left back?
Well, last game against Arsenal, Reece James was actually a sub in. Sure, he was just getting rested. It was Malo Gusto and Cucurella. Um, Dang, that's hard. I would replace Pedro Neto on the wing.
Okay. That makes
I was
sense.
gonna go for one of the backs, but I like Cucurella, Gusto, and Reece James. So
Fair enough. Would you
yeah.
rather try to stop Messi or Vinny from scoring right now? Well, Vinny's
Oh
gonna fall to the ground,
yeah.
so he'll be scoring a penalty. If he even walks up to me, um, I think I'd rather try to stop Vinny from scoring right now because I'd have a chance. I would never be able to stop Messi. He would just pull some weird bullshit on me.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, I'd
Vinny,
probably
yeah,
have to go
Vinny's
Vinny.
more maybe like a little more like flair player than Messi. But Messi's gonna look at me up and down and just be like, "This guy needs to be on his ass right now," and I would be immediately.
Yeah, Messi's still kind of cracked.
Yeah,
I
he's
love
unbelievable.
watching him liquefy MLS defenders.
It's
Just I
unbelievable.
like
Shout out Atlanta United for knocking them out.
right.
Yeah, Messi played
How about
90 minutes in 6 matches this season, and 3 of them were losses against Atlanta United.
shout out, dude? Did you see the altercation with Guzan getting
Yeah,
like pushed into the goal? That was wild.
yeah, that was weird.
That was such a weird game.
Would you rather play 5 at the back, or sorry, would you rather your club play 5 at the back or 4 at the front?
Five at the back. I love the wing backs, man.
Yeah, I don't like my options at center back enough for 3 center backs and 2 wing backs. Um,
Yeah.
I would probably go 4 at the front, but I don't.
Ooh.
Well, I guess if Callum Wilson's healthy, I'd be fine with AG, Callum Wilson, Isaac, and then whoever the fuck you put on the right.
Yeah, I would actually. I'm gonna switch my answer because I'm looking at the Reddit right now, and it's would you rather your club?
Yeah,
I
that's what I said.
totally missed that. I just thought it was. What would you rather have? With Chelsea, I would definitely take four at the front. You could add one of the many wingers that we have in Christopher Nkunku.
Yeah, that is true. Or you could put him in the middle.
Yeah, or you could put him in the middle. Exactly.
Put Palmer
Yeah.
on the right.
Yeah. True. 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 True.
Um, if you had to design a third kit for your club, what colors would you use? Okay, this is way better than the if you had to like redesign and relocate your team.
Yeah.
If you had to
Yeah.
design a third kit for your club, what color would you use? Well, see, issue. I still don't. I don't know what colors look good. Um, and also,
Hmm.
I don't know enough necessarily about Newcastle to know like what colors would they have a connection with. I love the green jerseys. Those green jerseys last
Green
year were
jerseys are pretty
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
And I like our alternate this year, which is still just black and white, but I still like that jersey a lot.
Yeah, you know what? Give give Chelsea like a emerald with like a gold like lettering jersey, or
Ooh.
like I honestly a pink jersey
Yeah.
somehow,
I
some way.
think,
Yeah, like maybe. Oh, dude, imagine a pink jersey with like the reflective stuff that we have going on
yeah,
now with like the swoosh and the. I think that could be pretty cool if they did it
that'd be
right.
cool. I think
Yeah.
so I like the green jerseys for Newcastle. The green with the black accents was fun, but I would like to see like mint green, like a
Ooh.
little more light color, than that dark like forest green that we had.
Yeah. I like that idea. Yeah.
Um, okay, well this one kind of interesting. If you stumbled, this is a final question as well. If you stumbled onto some oil money, what player would you sign for your club? Well, fun fact: at one time, Luke's team was on oil money, and mine currently is. And my team's been on oil money, and we haven't signed anybody but Sandro Tonali. So, it's tough because I don't want to do unrealistic shit. I'm not going to be like, oh, Erling Haaland. Yeah, we need a goal scorer. Erling Haaland's not leaving. It's definitely not going to Newcastle.
Yeah.
Who's somebody that, hmm, I don't know. I'd take Rodrigo.
I was just about to say Rodrigo.
He would fit well. We need a right wing.
Yeah. I would take
Would you still take a
I
striker?
would take um no. Isn't that
Interesting.
crazy that I just said that to
Yeah.
this question? And
Yeah.
you asked me this last season, I would have been like,
I wouldn't have had to ask.
uh,
That's
yeah,
for
you
sure.
wouldn't have had to ask. I would also take this one might surprise you. I would take Marquinhos.
Interesting. Still.
Yes.
Okay. You just want him to follow
Um,
Thiago Silva's footsteps.
yes. Yeah, except we would be able to have Marquinhos for longer. Um,
Yeah.
trying to think of like a mm, another player. Maybe Ousmane Dembele
He would be interesting for y'all.
at wing.
Is he that much of a step
Yeah.
up?
Um,
Like skill wise, yeah, he's great, but I don't know if
I think so.
performance wise he would be that big of a step up, especially
I
in the
think
Prem.
Dembele would be better than Neto and Madueke on a consistent level.
That's fair. You could you could probably
So
say that pretty confidently. Um,
yeah,
yeah, my team has oil money, but not really using it. At least well. Um,
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see if they do in the future. Financial fair play certainly screws us on oil money. I wish we could just spend all of our
yeah.
money at once. That'd be great.
There was a time
There was a
where
time.
teams were doing that.
And guess what? A lot of them won the league. It kind
Yeah,
of worked.
yeah,
All right, well those are all the questions. Um we still went long even though that was a short questions time. Um
yeah. We got Thursday night football like really shortly.
literally right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, late start for us. But hey, it's whatever. I still had a great time. And if you had a great time, make sure that you like this video and you subscribe here on YouTube to Second Short. Obviously, if you're on the podcast platforms, you can't subscribe nor like, but you can rate 5 stars and give us a follow. Go ahead, comment who's going to win Steelers Ravens. And obviously, join the Second Short subreddit r/2nd 8nd short. And you could have made this episode longer by submitting your own questions. Then you will need to follow us on Instagram. Stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Second and Short. Luke, got anything for the people before they head into their weekend?
Um, damn. Mm, 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 mm. What comment what player you wish your NFL team had?
Fun. Very fun.
I
Wish
have
we
no idea.
had Jake Bates.
I would take Cooper Cup.
Yeah, that'd probably be nice for the Steelers. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, listening, liking, and subscribing. Luke, I'll see you next week. Thank you for joining me.
See you next
I'll
week.
see everybody else on Monday. and then I'll see you on Thursday. And then I'll be right back here to preview
Ooh,
NFL Week 12 Premier League matches, not Champions League, but Premier League matches. And of course, talk about whatever nothingness is going to happen in the MLB for the next week.
yeah.
All right, guys, we'll let you go. See you guys next week. Enjoy the weekend. Peace.
Peace.